What is going on, everybody? I don't know what happened there. It said that we were still streaming. Uncomfortably, Doc pointed out that we were not, and thus we are back. Apologies for the issues. As you can see, I don't know exactly where it cut off, but going forward into that one, Atkin did win that fight, of course. I'm hopeful that that was at least shown on the stream. Up next is Masvidal War. I'm saying his name wrong, I know, but Masvidal Rival War up against Filthy Uncle Ben. Two guys that have been having a bit of a, well, they've been tearing up the PlayStation side for a little while, Doc. They're two very, very strong competitors on both elements. I've been hearing fantastic things about both, and they're getting very active within primetime. I think they have a really good chance of, kind of putting themselves forward, and of course the winner here, it is title implications on the line because they will be stepping up against the champion in the next round to get that primetime strap.
Yeah, the primetime strap's going to be the aim here. They're fighting for the #1 contender spot, basically, and both of them are well versed in games of striking and grappling. Both of them kind of veterans of our PlayStation side, built up their record enough, and so it should be a very interesting fight to watch.
Well, without further ado, brother, with all of those little issues, I hope that we're back and going well. We are going to get straight into this one.
Yeah, hopefully so. We're going to see a repeat, possibly the Robbie Lawler and Cannonier. We saw it a bunch of times last night in the Xbox Grand Prix. I imagine we may see the same thing again. Lawler's got that powerful power punch and the weird wrestling ability. Cannonier's got the leg kicks, the spinning death kick, and also the power similar to Lawler.
Yeah, so we saw a lot of Lawlers yesterday, didn't we? And, I mean, obviously, he has a lot of power. You can do quite a lot of damage with him. But on the flip side, we saw a lot of Cannoniers for the same reason as well. I do think that Cannonier with the better kicking, and, I think he maybe has a little bit of an advantage in speed, is probably something that I would try to implement if I was Filthy Uncle Ben. Maybe try to use that lateral movement, get in and out very, very quickly, Doc, and try to capitalize on those openings.
Well, we got a 4-piece combo there, a couple body shots to it. Gets stunned as he goes through it and knocked down quickly by Lawler. A takedown follows suit. Cannonier does get the defense on it, and now Lawler's ready to get proper payback for the early aggression.
Not wasting any time, brother. Not wasting any time. And sometimes that early knockdown can go in your favor, and you can continue that momentum. Other times it can go against you, Doc. As you get a little bit overconfident, start walking on to your opponent's shots. And, of course, they're going to have some big power, especially in the early going, even after being rocked.
Yeah, early knockdowns are always a good and bad time. If your opponent can't recover, they're fantastic for you. But if you get overconfident and get caught, you're going to have a very bad time. So far, though, it seems to be the latter for Lawler, seeming fairly content with engaging and just picking his shots nicely.
He sits him down. What a combination. That might not even be it, brother. The head health is non-existent. Robbie Lawler is sent to the Nether Realm. In the very first round, 3 minutes still on the clock, Doc. He didn't waste any time getting that job done.
That was commentary curse existing. Filthy Uncle Ben taking that when he got knocked down early on, but got the knockdown back and managed to get the finish. Lovely job to theirs to see with the Cannonier pick of all things.
Honestly, Uncle Ben was saying leading up to this as well. I seen him in the chats a few times, just kind of saying that he had a bit of a, kind of treat in store for all the fans here this evening, and he's delivered so far, brother. He's put himself forward in a big way. I mean, he got his opponent out there in the very first round. Up next in the next round, he's going to have to stay prepared, make sure that he's fresh over the next period, because he's going to be fighting the champion next, and of course, as we just saw, Atkins seems to have also turned up and be on fire here this evening, so I think that's one hell of a fight to start off the quarterfinals in that next stage. But, of course, that takes us very, very quickly, Doc, onto the very next fight. Fight number 3 of this evening. It's going to be BMF Stoyan up against Samurai Robin. What can you tell us about these two?
Well, Robin's a top ESFL player, so you know for a fact he's going to have the striking department as well as the grappling. Not really typical of the PlayStation division, to be fair, but that's the way it goes. Stoyan, on the other hand, very well-adverse, a well-adept striker and very effective with his technique. So I'm expecting a more striking battle with possibly Robin looking to take it down if it gets a bit too hectic on the feet.
Okay, that interesting to note, brother. Interesting to note. Well, once again, I've heard a lot of good things about these guys as a whole, on both sides, right? It's they well respected within the PlayStation community for what they bring to the table in terms of well-rounded abilities, like you say, especially with the picks that they seemingly are going. We are having a Nick Diaz up against a Robbie Lawler, bit of a classic fight. I expect big things from this fight. On obviously going to have that volume put forward from somebody like Nick Diaz, and the power from Robbie Lawler, brother. I know he just got laid out in that previous fight, but it is something that is sensational. When he hits people, they don't move.
Yeah, Lawler has just got that ability. He's that power. It's also that level 2 jab, I find. You can just make sure it's always out there. It's just constantly in someone's face and works so well for leaning onto other combinations. The jab is what starts your combinations off, and Lawler has a fantastic jab for that usage.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here they stand, taking a couple of seconds to breathe deeply, Doc, trying to maybe just center themselves, calm the nerves down, and get their first step in this tournament out of the way and kind of behind them, because the first step is always sometimes the most difficult one, right? Because the nerves are riding high. You don't really know if you're going to be able to rise to the occasion in that moment. Every one of us has had on nights and off nights. Nobody is perfect. So, a lot of the time it can come down to how you're performing on the evening. And this, for these guys at least, this is the first indication to themselves of how that might be going.
It really is. Both of them are very effective. And Nick Diaz player's got the chin, he's got the cardio, but it's an old Diaz. Will he be able to survive the onslaught of Lawler is going to be the main question of tonight, I feel like.
Well, yeah, I think obviously he's going to have to kind of play the matador sort of role, is Diaz, at least in the early going, until he's got a bit of a stamina lead and he can really start to turn on the pace. But like you say, that power of Robbie Lawler is... well, it's terrifying, and already we're seeing Samurai try to get into the face of Stoyan and make sure that he feels his presence and, respects the power that can come back his way, just to maybe try to offset him and get him off that rhythm there, Doc.
It really is the game to offset. Very aggressive, 3 pieces, even going down to the body. A body kick there, even with the unorthodox kicks. Elbow gets clipped against that block, and Diaz staying a fairly patient game, as you mentioned, playing that matador role, and I think that's definitely going to be the case here.
Well, Stoyan doesn't seem to want to back down from a good old scrap. He's kind of, playing the footsie game pretty well, backing out when needed, getting caught on these exchanges a little bit too much, I'm sure, but so far so good from him. He seems to be landing a decent amount. Probably hasn't got the stamina lead that he wanted, but with shots like that, that's money in the bank, Doc. Although he does get thrown onto his back, and Samurai Robin now passing through to side control with relative ease.
That's a lovely job there. Have got to be wary of the full guard sweep from this position, but with Samurai's in-depth knowledge of that grappling, I'm expecting he's going to be well versed in it. Although he does get it, now you've got to be scared of that rubber guard. Apart from that, full guard's a neutral position overall.
We shall see. Pumps the full, the armbar a couple of times. It's one of the only feints that I feel is still a little bit viable from that full guard position, in all honesty, but obviously Samurai didn't want to play down there for too long, decides to get back to his feet, and we will see if that goes in his favor. Stoyan has already shown to have some good footwork, and that could cause some problems as long as he doesn't walk onto that big power left hand that Samurai's keeping cocked with Robbie Lawler.
He's keeping it cocked and ready to fire. You see that left hand again going through. Comes up there, does Diaz. It's both of them are playing a chess match here, and I feel like Lawler's power within that chess match is going to be the most deciding factor.
It could be, brother. It could be for certain. It depends on how Stoyan, continues to approach this. Both guys are going for very similar techniques is the thing here, Doc. They're going for a lot of these, straights to the body after some of the strikes that they're throwing. And I think that's kind of telling of the game plan of both gentlemen. They want to make sure that they keep that stamina low. Of course, Stoyan wants to drown maybe Robbie Lawler in some deep waters. And Samurai's done a fantastic job of making sure that he lands damage, but make sure that he continues to variate where he's landing that damage, going to the body at a high percentage and having a lot of success as a result.
He is having a lot of success. I'm just looking at Diaz's body health, and it's a slight bit lower than Lawler's, and it seems to be the case that head health may be where Diaz is winning, but with the power of Lawler, that could all change in a moment.
Yeah, exactly right. Hopefully their connection issues seem to settle down and we don't miss any of this fight. That would be disastrous. They're having a good battle so far, really kind of poking at each other, and the damage is starting to mount up a little bit towards the end of that round, Doc. They started to let go, of course, at the end of the rounds. That's typically when people start to let those hands go, but I imagine that as they go into the second and the third round, given that they're starting to engage a little bit more, that's only going to continue to mount up, and I imagine that the damage is really going to start to fly as we see these seconds tick off this clock.
Yeah, the damage is only going to mount higher and higher. That body health of Diaz already looking a bit suspect. Now trading to head both of them. Lawler, sorry, has got to be a bit worried with how he trades, but...
As you said that, I mean, Diaz just came off so badly on that exchange. He's now getting the better of a couple of the punches being thrown, but I mean, the power of Lawler's so heavy, bro. When they land the same combination, then of course Stoyan's going to come off the worst for it due to the fact of the power that Robbie Lawler possesses, as we see him land another nice little crisp 3-punch combination right there.
Yeah, that crisp 3-punch, the 4 pieces, any type of shot Samurai's landing, it's landing precise precision, although Diaz tries to get through that block.
And this is where Diaz often excels, is when he's got his opponent hurt, continuing to pop them in the face with some shots. Like Robbie Lawler's doing, he got woken up by that last big strike that landed, Doc, and decided to answer back with some violence.
He really, really did. The body strikes of both opponents seems to be the technique of this fight. The up kicks in the previous fight. This one, it seems to be the body strikes, looking just to work that body health down the lead hook as well. Slowly coming out, becoming more predominant. Neither of them really know what strike is going to be their main strike.
Just to point out these technical issues on foot, they are not on our end, but the body rock, it paused perfectly, came back, knees him to the body, sits him down. He's going to jump on. Samurai Robin not adverse to a little bit of a ground game, especially when there's some ground and pound opportunities available to him, Doc. Not able to get the finish, but he's going to be very happy with the position he finds himself in, especially after that big damage was able to land.
Yeah, knockdown secures the victory in the second. Both of them now going back at it. Lawler getting on the feet, evidently happy that he's got one knockdown, can probably get another. Diaz has to be on the back foot now.
Oh! That left hand, brother, that left hand is trouble. Not able to get the finish once again. Diaz's defense holding up. Stoyan should be very, very proud of himself, as should the BMF boys, for the ability to withstand those massive offensive barrages coming his way. The submission looks like he's going to be, bailing on it. I thought that was pretty much the case. Puts himself in a pretty dire position, but of course Samurai Robin's stamina not enough to continue that barrage.
Not enough to continue that barrage, but he goes back at it again, looking to chip at that block or head health. I don't think it matters. A couple of crunch attempts there, working that body. Goes to trading pocket, disengages, 40 seconds left on the clock, and we've seen how people get aggressive here, and this is the time for Lawler to put on this pressure.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a very closely, contested bout so far. Both guys have come in with a fairly similar approach, in all honesty there, Doc. They've, utilized a lot of the same techniques, even though they have kind of polar opposite characters. Like, just like that, Doc. Just like that. Woo!
That lead hook of Lawler calling to begin with narrowly avoids the uppercut, and Lawler just put him straight out again. That was a fantastic job. The technique, head movement by both opponents, trying to keep that survival rate going, and Samurai just took it.
I mean, my God, PXL Samurai Robin getting the job done here this evening up against a tough opponent. I mean, BMF Stoyan looking good here tonight, Doc. Not looking like he's any slouch by any degree. Of course, we wouldn't have expected him to, but I think that they both turned up, but Samurai was just able to eke out that win, do the necessary things to get his hand raised here this evening. Yeah,
neither of them looked bad. It was evidently like top contenders, as we mentioned. These are all top contenders, and it shows. Just turns out that Samurai seems to be the slightly better contender, but that's nothing to dismiss the likes of Stoyan here.
No, exactly right, brother, exactly right. But with that being said, I think that does take us on very, very nicely to the very next fight of the evening. Of course, we're just going to bring back the actual graphic for you in a second. But no, all round, Doc, these have been some killer fights here this evening. I can't wait to get into the next one. Going to be Kobe up against LW, AJ Bads. I believe that's... Don't know if we had time to update that on the graphic or not, but he's a late placement, last-minute replacement, I should say, for Kobe. And obviously, I know that doesn't really matter to Kobe. He fought with us on the Xbox side. He's been fighting with us on the PlayStation side. He's a guy that stays ready, anybody, anytime, anywhere. But obviously, LW, AJ Bads, that can go in his favor as well, right? Sometimes that last-minute call-up means that you haven't overthought the situation, and sometimes allows you to come in a little bit more loose as the pressure's kind of on your opponent.
Yeah, always the case. Late replacements can sometimes be a good or bad thing. Sometimes you get a harder opponent, sometimes you get an easy opponent, but nonetheless, there's still an unexpected result So, both of them very effective. Both of them a good striker, and I think that we're getting straight into it now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There they are. As you see, Jack Hermanson, 4-star. Damian Meyer, 4-star. Looks like we're having some grappling picks out here.
We get Damian Meyer.
Make Doc's night. It will make Doc's night for sure.
It will indeed. Damian Meyer, K1 Meyer is the way to go, especially against a Hermanson who doesn't have the best punching power. Like, striking on the feet with Meyer is arguably the best way to play him, in my opinion.
Well, they are ready, I believe. I hope they're ready. But yeah, they're about to get going.
Always good.
He switched it up. He was giving him some lucky looks. That's all it was.
Well, we don't get Hermanson either. We get Kevin Holland. He's got rubber guard, a bunch of kicks. He's going to be an adverse opponent to fight. If he can get the length going, he plays a bit like Izzy Adesanya. And so if he can play that length and then possibly take him down in the later rounds or in the first round to work down that head health, that may be the game plan Kobe wants to go for.
Yeah, very, very, very likely there, brother. Very likely. I wouldn't be surprised at all. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, there's a lot of options available for both guys in kind of all departments. But that, once again, the power is going to really be on both ends here, right, Doc? I mean, I think that Kevin's a little bit faster. But, of course, on the opposite side, Robbie Lawler just has too much power to ignore.
Well, Kevin is maybe a bit faster, but the length in the pocket is going to play the game. If he can't keep it at distance, instead he's getting those side kicks every time Lawler's entering the pocket. He's just poking him and prodding him, and that's what you want to be doing as a Holland. But really gets a pullback knee there, though, Looney.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kobe's does a good job of that. Anytime his opponents go to the body with some punches, he always seems to have an uppercut or a knee ready to, kind of just interrupt that shot and kind of try to take their chin off the rest of their head. But as we see, AJ Bads trying to fire back with some big shots. He is having a little bit of an issue with the range, I feel, though, Doc. I think that you were mentioning that a moment ago. The range of Holland is a little bit larger, so he's going to be, having the ability to potentially kind of fight his opponent at range should he decide to implement that sort of style. Yeah,
as long as he can keep this range going, as long as he can just keep that distance, it's going to be Holland's fight. You see him there poke and prod. The power of Lawler's going to be the only main downfall to Holland, but Holland's got a 95 chin or something, same with recovery, so in terms of damage in between rounds, he can recover it pretty well.
Nice. Well, like I said, I think it's about who lands first, especially in a fight like this with both guys that have power in their hands. The middleweight fighters, they can bang, bro. They can bang, for sure. So we'll have to see, but I like the fact that, of course, in all of these fights so far here this evening, Doc, every single opponent's really shown some excellent body work. It seems to be the story of the evening, and I like to see it. We said it in the last card, but attack the body and the rest will fall, and that seems to be a game plan that each of these competitors seems to be following.
Yeah, attacking the body affects the cardio, which affects your defense, because if you can't counter effectively from the defense, it leaves them open further, and that's a lovely way to have your opponent just scrambling for any type of shot, and so working that body is good. It's nice to see.
Yeah, oh, brother. I mean, AJ Bads is actually coming alive right there. As we were talking, the sequence of shots that led up to that, the head movement, the footwork, the shot selection, Doc, was all absolutely beautiful. I imagine that he's going to be feeling very confident, but let's hope not a little bit too overconfident for his sake, as Kobe is a man that will turn those lights out at a moment's notice with any opportunity presented.
Any opportunity presented, indeed. Holland's having a fun time, but he's been knocked down with the body rock, and so it's got to be wary. Both of them countering the uppercut constantly there, stun there, leg kick there, and that was a wild end to the first round.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less from these guys, especially with these picks. Like I said, I like this 4-star mix-up for the lion's share of these fights. It really does kind of show us some different sides to some of these fighters, because obviously, some of the more highly technical picks that are available, more meta picks, are no longer going to be available until they've earned themselves in that final stage. So, oh my god, that is Sativ93. Shout out to that man right there with the raid of 16. We appreciate you, the support. PT, show some love for this man right here.
Always nice to have a person raiding us. Both of these are putting in one hell of a fight, so they've joined in at exactly the right time. Lawler already trying to put pressure on Holland looking to poke and prod within the first 40 seconds, and we get a stun.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god! Once again, Kobe, brother, is a guy that you cannot sleep on, even when you've got him hurt. That's often when he does his best work, catches his opponent, overextending just a little bit, Doc, just a tiny bit, trying to chase that finish, and understandably so when you've got your opponent rocked or, stunned in any sort or fashion. That kind of instinct, that will and desire to kind of end the fight right there can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming.
The overwhelming desire to end the fight as soon as your opponent's on the back foot can sometimes lead to both troublesome and not. The straight nearly clips as he gets a bit over aggressive on the pull. Both of them trading the three-piece there. A slip off straight follows suit. It just seems like Lawler's trying to pepper these shots, and it's working pretty effectively in the long run, I feel like.
Hells yes, brother. Hell yes. We've seen this from a lot of Robbie Lawler picks. Like I said, just utilizing that power really beautifully. I have to say, AJ Bads is taking some risks as far as I'm concerned with those head kicks. They come out so sloppily, Doc, and if your opponent's at range like Holland is a lot of the time in this bout, he can maybe just duck one of those. Not if he gets caught with a straight, though, brother. He gets finished, attack the body, and the rest will follow. Robbie Lawler stuck to that game plan to an absolute T, and AJ Bads is able to walk away with a victory as a result. That man has got to be feeling on top of the world, brother.
He really did. It was just that non-stop. A very effective job. Working that base of the body, he managed to get the finish straight from it as he fell down. Kobe couldn't even come back from it. Look back as well.
Whew. Well. AJ Bads getting the call-up at the very last moment, Doc. As you saw in the graphic leading into this one, Carter was actually the one scheduled to fight, pulled out shortly before the card was due to begin, and AJ Bads was biting at the bit, or so I hear, Doc, ready and raring to go. And he looked ready here tonight as well, brother. I mean, that was a great performance from him up against a very, very tough opponent. We know how dangerous Kobe is, so that's a great feather in his cap.
That's a great feather in his cap indeed. Kobe is always a dangerous opponent to fight and to see, and evidently he showcased his abilities there brilliantly.
Yes, sir. Well, Doc, I believe that takes us on to the next bout of the evening, my man. That is going to be between Ned and KIA Blake, the first KIA gentleman of the evening, but he will not be the last. Of course, his teammate, KIA Humble, fellow commentator, will be up following that, up against the ever-dangerous Deagle Fly, followed by some other killers that are well-known within the community, of course. But for right now, as I said, Ned, Big Balls Ned, as he is also known, is going to be up against KIA Blake. These two guys are killers. They are action-packed fighters, Doc. They do not like to go for decisions. They will look for that finish, and that's what I expect here this evening. I mean, is there anything else that you could say about this fight, brother, other than this is two killers throwing down?
They're both killers. They're going to be aggressive, and this is going to be an interesting fight nonetheless. You've got Holland, but it seems on one side, Till on the other. Maybe you won't see the Lawlers versus Candy as we have done in the past. It can be probably a kickboxing match, and if so, it's going to be a very, very interesting fight.
I love the Darren Till pick. Sorry, can't get my words out. We saw somebody go for it in the Xbox Grand Prix yesterday, I think, Doc. Or maybe they switched it up at the last second. But he has the kind of same sort of straight as Conor McGregor, the kind of Celtic cross, sort of speak. Obviously, is able to be very, very rangy and also has that Wonder Boy style kind of footwork where he can be in and out on a moment's notice. On the opposite end, though, we've seen Big Balls Ned in the past. He's a kid that or guy that kind of comes out there almost like with that sort of bang bang sort of feel, Doc. He pushes the pace, gets in his opponent's face, maybe not to the same sort of level that somebody like Bang Bang does, but he for sure likes to turn it up and put it on his opponents, kind of be that dominant force from the opening bell.
I mean, if you can pressure like Bang Bang, it's going to be an interesting time, even if it's slightly less than the guy, because Bang Bang's pressure is suffocating. Hopefully his pressure is the same way a Till or a Holland's pick. Maybe not the ideal solution to put the pressure on, but
oh my god,
getting kicked in the face already.
Yeah, like I said, Big Balls Ned, man, he's not exactly a Bang Bang fighter in the sense he doesn't just purely go forward, but the guy knows how to sit an opponent down already twice in the first round. He is absolutely lighting up KIA Blake. Oh my god, Doctor.
He is playing a very dangerous game here. Blake needs to calm down. He needs to recenter himself. Good, Ned is putting on this pressure. You can say it's not like Bang Bang, but it's more stylish like that. Head kick, narrowly blocked, uppercuts to the body, putting on this pressure. Finally catches the kick, slowing down the fight, stripped him down, jumps in his guard, slowing this mental pace already. Christ, that was a start.
Yeah, look, I'll be serious with you here. KIA Blake, he is Darren Till. This is not where he wanted to be with Till. But after that opening going, I cannot blame the man. Take this fight down, dog. There's 3 minutes on the clock. Try to slow this man down because Big Balls Ned is he's got his mojo here this evening, and he is turning up, brother.
Big Balls Ned evidently does have the mojo here. Now he's got the reversal, goes into the half guard himself, evidently looking to get a bit of damage, showcasing that his ability on the ground is either the same or if not better than KI Blake here.
Yeah, well, once again, Ned does not shy away from any sort of challenge, whether that be on the feet, on the mat, or anything in between. He gets into the mount now, Doc. This is going to be some big ground and pound. We've said it before. We'll say it again. Holland has power in those hands.
Oh.
Just about enough head movement to keep Blake kind of mitigating enough damage to survive there. But this is not a great spot for him, brother. He needs to make it to this next round, in my opinion. Stay defensively sound over the course of the next 1 minute 45. And just allow himself the opportunity to work himself in the fight a little bit later on.
He's getting very close to the finish, narrowly avoids the straight, even phasing through his face there. This is still Ned's fight. Till was the one to take it down, but Ned got the reversal. Ned has had the most dominant success so far in this round.
Yes, sir. See J Dime in the chat. Alexa, play I Will Survive. I love that. I mean, no, seriously though, Blake has done a really good job of staying composed during this entire thing, because the amount of kind of chaotic onslaughts that are coming his way, and he does seem to be calm, brother. He seems to be staying in the fight and just, kind of staying present, Doc, and allowing himself, little reversals like that. And I think that's ultimately what's going to allow him to survive these battles and kind of go further into this fight, maybe try to eke out a win later on as the waters get deeper and maybe the stamina kind of starts to wade of the guy putting out the majority of the offense.
Yeah, 30 seconds left in the fight. Did land some of the ground and pound, but that's 5 to 20 significant strikes. You see those knockdowns landing over and over again. 3 stuns, 1 knockdown in the favor of Holland. It's going to be an interesting time coming into this next round. Will Holland be able to keep this pressure on? Because so far he looked like the dominant force, but at the very end he did let off the pedal.
Yeah, we mentioned it in the last fight, Doc, and I'll mention it here again. Sometimes those early successes can go against you because it means that you become overconfident and start to kind of not be concerned about what's coming back your way. And obviously Blake is a killer. He wouldn't be in KIA otherwise. That is the name itself, Killers in Action. And here he is this evening trying to get those hands going, having a little bit of a better start to round 2 than round 1 there, Doc, and we'll have to see how he's able to continue that offense going forward. Oh!
Till's been trying to block that blade option, but instead Holland's finally got a read on it, got the pullback. The head kick lands, the up kick keeps him alive, and Holland's happy to stick that jab. The head movement of KO Blake is only just keeping him out of major danger, but 3 minutes 40 left on the clock. He's the one trying to push forward. The elbow clips him.
Beautiful, beautiful. The knee, elbow, you love to... I mean, just the mix-ups that he's doing right now. The variation, Doc. All angles are going Darren Till's way. He doesn't know where to block right now, move his head or sidestep, because there seems to be a strike coming at every angle in every which way.
He's just being peppered with shots. We saw Anakin start the peppering off in against Reaper, but Holland's just doing it in a completely different way. It's body, head, ducks under the elbow, fires, the strike gets 2 follows. His gas tank as well, might add, is still in good tactic.
Do you know, I know there's some people hating it, right? But I love it when a fighter does a knee elbow and the other player just responds with a knee elbow. It cracks me every time. It's like, you can do it, I can do it, brother.
Indeed, and the elbow is that dreaded combo nobody wants to touch, but still uses lovely defense on that ground and pound. Holland probably going to look back up on the feet with how much success he's getting, but we've seen him on the we've seen him grappling in the past, so this is May where he wants to keep it.
Good work the body, and once again Holland is not you know, going away from that body. That shot has been there for him the entire fight. He continues to go back to the well with it. That's going to continue to allow him the, you know, the successes that he is having, because it keeps Blake kind of gassed, really, doesn't it? Obviously continues to attack that gas tank every single time that he lands. It takes away some of that pop that Darren Till's going to be able to throw back his way.
Yeah, every time that body is worked, the gas tank is slightly less, and that becomes an issue. A Beyblade nearly clipping him as he exits the pocket. A teep there. A minute left on this clock, and Holland's still happy to keep this wild pace going.
Goes for the single leg. That's some nice defense. Only 35 seconds left in this second round, but if Blake can get something big going and maybe attack that body a little bit more, he can put Holland in a pretty dire position going into this third round. But it just seems tit for tat at this stage, with kind of a little bit of the better of that shit coming the courtesy of Kevin Holland. I mean, just Big Balls Ned kind of just going a little bit wild out there tonight, brother, and he seems to be having a lot of success with it.
I feel like Big Balls Ned is showing why his gamer tag exists. He has the big balls. He's working that body happily, even coming with those wild hooks every time. They're very open, unorthodox. You would expect maybe an uppercut or knee to meet him, but instead he's finding the right place, and Blake's defense is having a very hard time struggling with it, Looney.
Yeah, for certain, brother, for certain. Touch of gloves, though, here in the very third and final round of this first stage of the PlayStation Grand Prix between KIA Blake up against Big Balls Ned. Knee, elbow, once again, the body upcut into the lead hook doesn't land either. Both guys either missing shots or blocking them currently, Doc. Not a strike seems to have been landed flushly up until that back fist right there.
Both of them trading.
Can you imagine?
He's gassed out. That gas tank being the issue. The head kick gets another knockdown. That naked head kick seems to be a major issue. Somehow he doesn't get knocked down. Finally does. Holland happy to put on his pressure. His major issue, I feel like right now, isn't only whether can he survive, it's whether he gasses out beforehand.
This has got to be Big Balls Ned, and it is. He gets his hand risen for the very first time this evening. We will have to see if he's able to do it in the next stage, but he came out with a crazy pace in that first round. They continued it late into the second, Dog. Was hard to keep it up to the same kind of level in that third, but they didn't really take their foot off the pedal the entire time. Gas was continually being burnt throughout.
Yeah, both of them just started that pressure, neither of them wanting to stop, and Ned came out there and put that pressure on non-stop. He had a hectic first round. We slowed the pace down with the grappling just a tiny bit, so we got to see he's a very effective grappler, but apart from that, it was just a non-stop action.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, another fun fight straight in the bag. That, of course, is the very first fight of the right-hand side of the bracket. Up next is your friend and mine. That is KIA Humble, fellow colleague and or teammate, I should say, as well, of course, of KIA Blake and myself. And Doc over here, this guy is jumping out of the comms booth for this weekend, jumping into the cage. We've seen him fight at some of the highest levels, of course, fighting for the title in recent weeks or recent months, of course, back on the last season or season 1 of the PlayStation division. And Deaglefly's another guy that's been in or around those talks for quite some time as well there, Doc. He has a fantastic ability to kind of really put it on his opponents all round, and especially with the pressure that he brings to the game. Talks for quite some time as well.
Yeah, both of them are very aggressive, and Humble is known for that. We saw him, he's challenged with the title as well, and so it's going to be an interesting time for both opponents. Deaglefly well versed in all the specialities, and I think it's going to be a very competitive fight, but I'm going to give the slight edge to Humble, although that probably means now Deagle's going to win.
Never ever sleep on any one of these guys, my man. I tell you now, like Deaglefly, we've seen him do some crazy stuff in this cage. He's been around he's one of the first guys that came across on PlayStation, I do think, and once again, I just expect him to come out and really be able to try and meet some of that fire that, of course, Humble brings. I don't think we've ever seen a fight with Humble in it where he is not, hell for leather from that opening bell, trying to take his opponent's face off. Even in his title fight, he didn't kind of take too long to find his feet and kind of measure his distance. He kind of went, no, I know what I'm doing on the feet. I'm going to throw these hands and they're going to land. And sometimes that goes his way, sometimes it doesn't. I suppose it depends on, whether or not Deaglefly has kind of taken note of that and made some of the necessary adjustments there.
Yeah, it's going to be really the case. To bring you back to that title fight, I don't think I remember him throwing as many hands. I think he was mainly throwing head kicks of all things. It was a very interesting time to witness. He has also got a flying knee KO on his record, so so you know for a fact that Humble is well versed with in all aspects of the game, especially his anti-grappling. I've experienced it myself, and he's a wild person. He will let you move, he'll let you do stuff, but do stuff. You can never get enough damage to actually wind around, because as soon as you give him even a minute on the feet, he's going to come back, look for that knockdown, and just wind around non-stop.
Yes, sir. Well, I think we're about to have a Robbie Lawler mirror match over here, which will be interesting. Lots and lots of power. Mirror matches, like we said in the past, sometimes they can be a little frustrating for the competitor. Sometimes they can really, really showcase who is the better fighter in their chosen game style. And, of course, with them both going Robbie Lawler, should be a great indication to all of the fans and fighters that are waiting to compete or wait this card unfold, that these are two guys that intend on bringing the action, Doc, because Robbie Lawler is not known for boring fights.
Yeah, no, both of them aren't known for boring fights. Humble and Deagle Fly themselves, and in the factor of the Lawler pick not being known for the boring fight. This is may continue the pace that we've been having for the last fight with I forgot his name all of a sudden. The Kevin Holland pick. That's the one.
Well, starting out in this first round, they do touch glove. On the right-hand side, we do have KIA Humble in the black gloves, or the blue corner. In the blue shorts, the red corner, that is Deagle Fly. So, yeah, we will see how these unfold. Obviously, we see... I was going to say Robbie Lawler, bro. we see Deagle Fly. We see Deagle Fly taking the center of the cage, pushing the action, but a lovely pull counter starts out this fight nicely for Humble, trying to land at a high percentage, but eats a front kick, has to keep those hands up high.
Has to keep the hands up high. Deagle Fly putting on his pressure. Now Humble starting to fire back. Only just managing it, establishing that jab very quickly. The lead hook is sneaking through. 3 minutes 40 on the clock, and both of them are already setting this at a very, very fast pace.
Man, is it bad I did not know that Robbie Lawler had a Superman punch? What the actual? That was K.I. Humble showing me something out here. Already within the first 1 minute 70 or so in this very first round. I love what I'm seeing. Lots of variations in the sorts of attacks that he's giving his opponent. Deagle Fly seems to be plodding around this cage. Has to be keeping those hands up, Doc. He got a sneaky head kick up. That's the problem with those lazy ones that Robbie Lawler throws. Sometimes they look like they're going to the body when they're going to the head. The dexterity isn't exactly there, so the animation looks the same, but he gets rocked! Deagle Fly!
Stunned there, gets clipped as he's stunned. A straight gets him down, and Deagle Fly's already putting on this pressure at a very, very fast pace. Humble is just struggling to get in grip. We've seen this before. Head kick lands there. Humble needs to just calm down, reassociate, and then start fighting back, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, look, he did a good job at the beginning using some good footwork, some good head movement, and if he continues to be able to do something like that, then he could have some big openings. Doesn't want to meet fire with fire at this stage, especially with the early success and rock of Deagle Fly. That's a good little moment right there, and he gets straight back onto his bike, resets, and looks for some opportunities to catch his opponent, who is obviously going to be trying to return some of those. We've got to remember that both guys are able to grapple as well, so I think that a takedown on either side would be just what the doctor ordered at this stage. I don't know if you would order it, Doc, but I feel like you would. What the hell? How Humble? Is this a Robbie Lawler calf? What the hell is out?
Lawler does have some wild stuff. If you want me to confuse you even more, McGregor does have a rolling thunder, just staying out there. This is Lawler going at it again. 50 seconds left on the clock. A bit of grappling in the second round, maybe ideal, but Humble doesn't want it. Going to the second round, getting the knockdown, putting on this pressure. Lovely blocks it, only just surviving.
The head health is not there. It wasn't there. It was empty. He survived on 0 head health. Deagle Fly's chin is carved of granite. He still continues to take some punishment from Humble, but then he gets the reversal.
Gets up, gets reversed, stack guard, here we go with 3 seconds left. Humble may be able to rain a couple of shots. That was a wild ending to the first round. You had Deagle Fly, can't remember, I was going to say Lawler, it's either of them, but you had Deagle come in, put on this pressure. Humble evidently confused Deagle Fly by throwing Superman punches, that jumping kick, got the knockdown, and put him on his arse, nearly getting the finish to the point that the head health didn't exist. And now we go into this second round. Who's winning this? I don't think either of us are sure, to be fair.
But, mate, honestly, I am just happy that I am calling this fight, able to behold the beautiful destruction on display. I'm sure we can get some appreciation going in the chat for these two savages. Already starting out this fight with one hell of a bang and look to continue it in the second round. Already the activity is there, Doc. Trying to throw those hands actively and quickly. Trying to get a finish. Lovely slip counter from Deagle Fly. Big counters seem to be on the horizon.
The head kicks there, doesn't land. Deagle Fly evidently annoyed. He's tried it, trying to put on this pressure against the cage. Doesn't get it. A couple of jabs there, trying to work that block. Humble's just trying to get himself out of against behind that black line. Now taking center octagon, pushing Deagle on the back foot, but Deagle is happy to engage here.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of activity going on here. A lot of subtle things that may be getting missed. Oh, my... He gets sat down once again. Deagle Fly's hands are finding the mark more often than not. There's still 3 minutes 40 on the clock. He manages to get the separation, does Humble, but his back is pressed up against that cage. He needs a nice, well-timed pivot or continue to circle as he is right now. Cannot continue and afford to be pressured up against the cage line there, Doc.
How are these two surviving? They're only just missing the shots. Moved his head health off. Nearly got clipped by a straight by Humble. The headman of Deagle is playing dividends to his defense. Gets uppercutted there. Power doesn't fully knock him down, but he's looking to at every shot he throws. Those 3-4 pieces are just playing massive amounts to that block at least.
I love what I'm seeing, brother. Honestly, from both sides. Big front kick lands on the side of Humble. Of course, Humble in the black shorts goes for the double leg there. Misses. Gets a couple of shots landing. His head health not looking too flush, but he lands some combination stock. And when he does, they're so creative. A lot of the time, his opponent is having difficulties making those reads, and therefore the necessary adjustments to get his head off that line.
He really is. Both of them are mixing up combos. It seems like Deagle Fly's got the better reads, though, because every time Humble's gone for those straight down the line combos, he's managed to move his head off. But overhand hits there to straighten. Somehow doesn't get clipped through the block, but the rear hook does, and he's looking for this finish in top mount.
Yeah, this could very well be it, but Humble, being the veteran he is, keeps his hands up, continues to remain composed. Not out of the woods, though, Doc. Deagle's Fly stamina is there, and the ground and pound was also there. Able to get the W, gets his hand risen once, for the first time here this evening, I should say. Obviously, he's hoping not for the last time. Big W for Deagle Fly over a guy that was kind of pretty highly touted. Had a lot of support looking at the earlier pick stocks. I don't know if you have all of the stats to hand, but Humble was a savage. Everybody knows that he's a savage out here. To get the job done here from the side of Deagle Fly, I think is, once again, we said it. We say a lot, feather in his cap, all that sort of speak, but very confidence build into what his possibilities are going forward in this competition.
It's a very competitive fight. You saw how quickly he put on that pressure on Humble. Humble was just reading from the effects, and then he just couldn't make any type of stance going from that point. Lovely. And a very effective job there by Deagle Fly himself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, with that being said, it moves us on to the next bout of the evening, brother. We have 2 fights left in this first stage of the PlayStation Grand Prix Season 2, of course. It is going to be between Zagoat, A55 Zagoat, and Spartan War, 2 guys that are well known on the PlayStation side of things. We've seen Zagoat fight in the past. The guy is, quite honestly, just a savage on the game, Doc. I get quite excited anytime I see this guy play. He really, really does bring all of the skills to the table. His grappling is kind of a bit scary, to be honest with you. I look forward to maybe having the honor of fighting him on that side, on the PlayStation side of him one day. And from the side of Spartan War, obviously he's a very popular guy, can do it all, isn't afraid to take the fight anywhere as well, Doc. I'm sure you're pretty familiar with these guys as well, considering that they've been around the scene for quite some time, both in Primetime and some of the other divisions around.
Indeed. The GOAT is a very effective player, part of that A55 camp, and so you just know for a fact. We've seen Spooky compete, and we know how effective of a grappler he is going to be. So if he's not a grappler, more of a striker, which I believe he is, he's still going to have that ability to grapple, or at least anti-grapple. Spartan, on the other hand, is a diverse fighter, got in the grappling skills as well as the striking skills, and it's going to show with the Bisping and Lawler pick here.
Yeah, honestly, I expected these guys to play out on the feet. Like I said, A55's a goat. He can really do it all. And, you know, if these guys are getting really beat in one department, I wouldn't be surprised to see either one of them shoot a double. But I quite honestly think that it's going to play out on the feet for the large part of this bout, especially with the picks that they're going if they decide to lock them in there. Doc, Robbie Lawler up against Michael Bisping. Like I said, it's a fun matchup. It's a 4-star Michael Bisping. Still has that cardio, still has quite a lot of speed on his side. And, you know, we've seen it each and every single bout so far outside of the main title fight that started off the night. Robbie Lawler definitely has dynamite in those hands and is looking to really be showcased that in this first stage of the tournament.
Yeah, I really do expect him to showcase that. Bisping's got the cardio, Lawler's got the power, so I feel like the bodywork, as we've seen in the fights previous to this one, are going to be the mainstay of the fight. As whoever gets the bodywork going to begin with is probably going to have the most effective fight plan.
Well, starting out, I don't think that we have any HUDs. That is interesting to know. Do you know that I like it, Doc, when you don't have any of the staminas? But, you know, in all honesty, I'd turn everything else off as well. But, you know, on the right-hand side, we have Zagoat. That is going to be Michael Bisping. And, of course, his opponent, Spartan War, is using Robbie Lawler from the red corner.
On a side note about HUDs, you don't realize how much you use it to commentate a lot of the time, so it's going to be a very interesting time seeing how it goes. Speaking of which, so Lawler is already establishing that jab, playing a very aggressive time.
Yes, sir, and he's landing some clean shots when obviously his opponent Zagoat is trying to use a little bit of head movement, trying to make some reads and to, you know, kind of just get that head away from some of the jabs and hooks coming his way. So far, Robbie Lawler having a lot of success with it. Spartan War maybe looking a little bit more crispy on the feet so far, especially with that body mix-up that he's going to, but it doesn't seem to be dissuading Zagoat at all over here, Dog. Zagoat seems to be quite happy to play this outside game and look for some of these pull counters.
Should I just ask which one Zagoat is?
Zagoat is Michael Bisping, bro.
Zagoat is Michael Bisping. Good to know. My brain suddenly forgot. Bisping having a difficult time. Digs down to that body there, does Lawler, and it's both of them going back and forth. As you mentioned, Bisping is having that in and out style, but I feel like with the power of Lawler, he's just having a better success because when he's landing very cleanly. Yeah,
definitely. In the opening 30 seconds or so, I think I was all with you on that. Robbie Lawler seemed to be getting the, you know, kind of the large majority of the better strikes being landed, but that seems to be a tide that is turning as the fight is progressing. Zagoat has been landing at a high percentage and pretty cleanly over the course of the last 2 minutes or so. Of course, still a lot of time to play in this first round, Doc, as they exchange in the center of the cage, but I think that this sort of pace and this sort of momentum may only end up to benefit somebody like Zagoat with that Michael Bisping pick, because he can continue to fire combinations like that and change up the tempo, Doctor, should he want to. And that's something Spartan War definitely needs to keep in the back of his mind.
Indeed, changing up the tempo is going to be is just one of the few adjustments you can make to make life difficult for someone. The overhand does land. Spartan Wars trying to put on this pressure. Zagoat is happy to contend with it, and I think that stamina is definitely also going to be happy to contend with it, just with his ability to able to throw those 3-4 pieces later down the road. We've got only a minute left in this, and so possibly see these two going a bit more wild now.
Yes, sir. I wouldn't expect anything less, especially at the end of the round. You know, we've seen it too many times to say anything different, of course. The last 30 seconds especially is where the action is really kind of going the majority of the time. As you see them just step forward, meet in the center of the cage, and decide to throw some overhands, brother. The absolute onslaught of action coming the way of Zagoat to close out those 15 seconds. Still 10 on the clock, and he seems to be happy now that he's won this round and is backing off and playing the cautious game. I think that was a great end to the round for Zagoat. Going to be very confidence building and momentum building for him going into the rest of this bout.
That's gonna definitely be confidence building, and that's what you want at the end of the round. If you can just manage to get a stun, you're gonna have a lot happier coming into that second round, because you know they're gonna be somewhat hurt, which means you can then capitalize on it further coming into the second.
Yes, sir. Well, we'll see how the action continues to unfold over the remaining 10 minutes potentially scheduled in this bout. They touch them up. Once again, a little bit of a reminder for you, A55 Zagoat is on the right-hand side of the screen using Michael Bisping. His opponent, Spartan War, in the red corner, blue shorts with Robbie Lawler, as he looks to double jab and throw that uppercut behind it, really trying to push the pace on Zagoat, but he's just doing too good of a job at this point there, Doc, circling back and making sure that he has some distance behind. Oh! Eat my words. No, he's got a lot of distance behind him. He's doing a good job of backing up. And there's that shot.
A lovely shot, to be fair. It was halfway across the cage, managed just to drive it all the way through. Does get reversed, though, pretty quickly. Spartan more on top. Lord has got the ground and pound power as well, but disengages. Evidently happy to engage on the feet. Oh.
That kick from Michael Bisping, bro. I just never expected that spin kick. It has such great tracking as well. Lands the uppercut. Now the action is starting to heat up a little bit. The block seems to be broken in both departments. Taking a couple of seconds to reset. Trading jabs out here, Doc. Tit for tat. Only 3 minutes left in the second round. I say only 3 minutes. Still 3 minutes left in this second round. So a lot of time for this action to unfold between these two guys that are quite clearly, I should say, trying to take the judges out of this one.
Evidently trying to take the judges out. You got Lawler pushing forward non-stop. Bisping just trying to find the wide stop. Ducks under massively. The overhand by Lawler is going to be his most effective tool so far, getting the 2 stuns. And we're back at it, both of them playing at range, coming in with the leg kick and then just looking to make their way past that block.
Ooh. Lovely little slip off the center line once again from Spartan War. This guy quite clearly knows his way around the striking gym, so to speak. Quite clearly is comfortable on the feet. Both guys are, to be honest with you. Excellent check. I think that might have even stunned the leg of Michael Bisping as you see him walking a little bit more gingerly on that right leg. Excellent work from Robbie Lawler. Zagoat trying to turn it up, but he gets the double leg once again. I say Zagoat, sorry. Spartan War.
It's a lovely takedown there. He's shooting it very cleanly. Now we have Lawler just on bottom, staying fairly patient, fairly content, but this ground and pound seems to be how he's going to try win this.
Yeah, it all adds up, my man. It all adds up. I mean, in a closely contested bout, you're able to get takedowns, some ground and pound off, and of course, that's just going to look great, but not if you get reversed, especially knowing the power that Robbie Lawler has, as we have echoed throughout the opening bouts of this first round. He has the sort of kind of strength in those hands that, well, they can devastate, man. You ever seen Sin City? The yellow guy at the end? That's the sort of power that Robbie Lawler possesses. He can crush your face.
Can't say I know Sin City or the yellow guy, as you so eloquently put it. I mean, a multitude of things. Now Bisping raining down this ground and pound again, looking to pulverize Lawler's facing. Doesn't give it too much, and that we call an end to the second round.
Well, here it is, brother. Here it is. This is where, kind of people are able to make the adjustments throughout the course of the fight. It's where those championship level adjustments need to be made, is kind of when the fight is going pretty tough on both sides. It gets deeper into the fight. You can see the tendencies your opponents are starting to, kind of put out there. And obviously, it's just about your ability to be able to adapt to that. We see, obviously, Zagoat has been happy to play kind of the back foot throughout the majority of this fight, so I would be interested to see if he pushes forward with Michael Bisping now and tries to pour on the pressure, given the fact that he normally has such high kind of recovery in between rounds, and that seems to be what he's looking for here, Doc, as he's seemingly pretty happy to stay in the center, although that damage from Robbie can be problematic.
The block health is also problematic here. Both of the blocks are low. Tucks under that hook. Only just about. Another slip hook comes in retaliation. Another jab straight there. Both of them are just looking for this one last shot to maybe win the round, keeping the judges out of it. Bisping somehow stays on his feet.
Yeah, I don't quite understand how he's still alive at that stage, to be honest with you. At least 2 or 3 shots landed on the block when he was rocked, but Michael Bisping, once again, a champion's champion. That guy will stick into the fight to the very end. No quit in him, or Zagoat for that matter, as he continues to look to land some big shots, and he has him rocked. You saw him stumble around for a second. Seems to have recovered now, Doc, but that's got to be a little bit concerning. A little bit concerning on the side of Robbie Lawler.
I was a bit scared he was going to get countered there all of a sudden. It's a very, very tense time. Both of their head health is low, even if we can't see it. Lawler staggering through the overhand land, jumps on him, looking to put this Rain of Terror out. Only just manages to slip the straight, now into the possible top mount or back sitting. Does get denied there, though.
Yeah, Zagoat tried to follow up that nice knockdown with some ground and pound, but obviously Spartan War wasn't having any of it. Spartan now decides to take it back to the feet. He takes the center of the cage and is echoing a call on from a little bit earlier on, saying, come towards me, over here's a goat, as he checks that leg kick and tries to answer back with some big shots. I think he actually damaged the leg on the check here, and is trying to capitalize on that at the moment, Doc, with some, lovely boxing. Everything seems to be landing.
Everything does seem to be landing. If it's not landing on the chin, it's landing on the block. The uppercut there does get whipped twice, so Bisping coming back. The uppercut landing, gets clipped by the hook, and now we're getting jumped on very aggressively here.
He's out, brother. He is out. That is all she wrote. Spartan War able to get his hand raised here this evening. Going to be feeling very, very happy with himself. That was a difficult opponent in the first round of this competition, and he was able to rise to the occasion and get the job done in an entertaining bout. I said Robbie Lawler's never not in an entertaining bout, and that continues to be the case here tonight in primetime PlayStation Grand Prix. Every single stage that he has turned up, it has been an absolute blessing. Action has kind of seamlessly ensued from that point onwards, Dog.
Yeah, both of them are just playing fantastically there. No HUD was a bit wild, but you could tell the technique on both ends. They were just looking for that one last shot, neither wanting to give up a single inch. But finally, the goat just slipped up only slightly, and Spartan War took it over.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. With that all being said, my man, we are moving on to the next bout of the evening, the final bout of the right-hand side of the bracket, and it's two guys that we know very, very well at this stage now, Doc. How about you lead us into this one, brother? Bang Bang, also known as B3 Bang Bang, and Peace Mahai.
Well, so let's leave off with the least known fighter here, and both of them are pretty known, if I'm not mistaken. You've got Peace Mahai. He came in on his debut, he started out and finished someone within about a minute in real life time. Came in and got knocked down, got the finish so quickly. It was impressive. Bang Bang needs no introduction. Now formed his own camp of B3. Bang Bang is a pressure fighter through and through. He is your typical pressure fighter, and he's going to stand there in your face and look to put his pressure on. You're not going to know what to do unless you take him down to the ground, and even that I personally deem illegal, but to each their own, I guess.
Well, would you like to hazard a guess on who he is going to pick, Doc? Bang Bang, that is. Who do you think?
If he wants to impress me, I would say play K1 Maya. If he's going to go a typical pick, I'm going to expect Lawler or Cannoneer.
Well, do you know what? You don't know Bang Bang as well as you thought, brother. He is, of course, going...
No, Wanderlei Silva.
Of course, brother. Wanderlei Silva.
Wanderlei Silva.
Up against Robbie Lawler appears to be the pick. Peace Mahai up against Bang Bang, you dig. Without further ado, we're going to get into this one. I expect fireworks here, Doc.
I expect fireworks indeed myself. We see the Wanderlei Silva come out. I have fought his Wanderlei Silva. It's wild with the hooks. Lawler's going to have one hell of a time trying to make sure he keeps that range and just manages to keep his back away from the back of the cage.
Quite honestly, brother, right, quite honestly, I've come across a Wanderlei, like, Bang Bang's pressure's on some next level anyway, but when it's Wanderlei, he's got those short hooks, he just kind of has an added incentive to just walk forward and become the axe murderer, and that's what he does each and every time. Peace Mahai, though, I expect big things from this guy. He has the Rick picture, right? When you have a display picture, which is Rick Sanchez, you're automatically goated, and he's gone Robbie Lawler, he's deciding to answer fire with fire. I imagine that there's going to be some nice slick head movement, trying to get off that center line, trying to crack his opponent first, because whoever lands big first in this fight, Doc, is probably going to have the, kind of success needed to continue that momentum throughout the course of the bout. Quite simply put, they're both heavy hitters, and they both have the power to possessed in those hands to end the fight quite literally on one shot.
They do both have the ability to end it in one shot. You've got Wanderlei, who's got his own weird signature hooks. You've got Lawler, who we've seen countless times before. We've got HUD for once, so maybe we had to commentate on it. But we've got the jabs, the hooks coming out already, both of them not wanting to step off the center line in the middle of the octagon.
Yeah, we're seeing Peace Mahai utilize a lot of jabs, making sure to get it in Bang Bang's face, trying to meet fire with fire, like I said. There's been a couple of body shots already, and he has to be careful of the uppercut return from Bang Bang. He's known for that, and we see it right there, lands perfectly, as I think Peace was considering to go to the body on one of those shots. A lot of ducks as well, a lot of straight returns, trying to keep it short, trying to keep it snappy, Doc, which I think is a good move against somebody that throws big bombs like Bang Bang. Already gets that first crack, and now trying to pour on that pressure, more so than he was at the beginning, even if that's possible.
Well, the interesting thing about Bang Bang is you start landing against him, you get really comfortable, but he makes these incredible reads, and you just end up going, oh, what have I done? I have accidentally engaged a person who knows how to fight in the pocket. Like, Bang Bang is the goat of fighting in the pocket, in my opinion, and it showcases, even here, he's just walking forward. Lawler's trying to play with aggression, but he knows when to play in, out. He knows when to time his defense, and you see that slip straight land there. We've got 2 minutes 50 left on the clock, and it already seems like Bang Bang's starting to take this away somewhat.
Now, I'm not ruling out Peace Mahai. I know that this man's dangerous. He utilizes that jab really, really well, but he needs to put something behind it. He maybe needs to open up with some twos, throw that straight down the center line, interrupt his opponent and the momentum. I'm loving the body uppercuts. That body work is going to play dividends for him, Doc, as long as he's able to keep those hands high and try to avoid some of that big damage going to be coming his way, because obviously, as we know, Bang Bang is looking to take your head off at all times, brother. He does not leave you a moment's respite in these fights.
I mean, I think the old Bang Bang wouldn't know what anybody meant by body damage. He's just looking for that head, and he's looking to KO you. I have seen Bang Bang made changes to go for the body a bit more, but you can see right now that he doesn't mind his body being hit. He knows that as long as he can find a window, it's going to be massive.
Robbie Lawler is down Peace Mahai after some big success, now eating some big shots up against their cage. Their head health is almost non-existent. He gets rocked once again. Bang Bang rocks to the body, but he keeps his hands in the right place. He manages to continue to stay into this fight, and now he's trying to answer back of his own dog. This is incredible.
Imagine coming forward after you've just dealt the onslaught of Bang Bang. Bang Bang's now coming back, looking to know that if you want to come forward, I'm going to come forward, meeting in the middle. The jabs, the straights, the lead hooks, the ducks to the body. Both of them are just playing a very skilled game.
Oh, brother.
Even the little pain of it, though, by the seems of it.
My God, Doc. I mean, just to be straight up with you, brother, that was all the action I expected, and some Peace Mahai came game this evening, decided to fight fire with fire, and obviously, Bang Bang is that fire if there ever was. This is craziness, brother.
Yeah, Bang Bang is that fire. He's looking to put... He's the fire extinguisher to the fire, I think some would say. And now Lawler's trying to fight back, but it's so evident that Bang Bang knows how to pressure, knows how to make you wonder what you're doing wrong. Just to hope that elbow there gets the knockdown, working that body. A clinch work with Wanderlei Silva's stat is very high as well.
Yeah, and that's the little stuff that puts Bang Bang apart from his opponents. He continues this momentum, but has to be careful. Peace Mahai is staying composed. He knows the type of, kind of offense that was coming his way this fight, and he seems to be absolutely committed to staying composed. But it may be all over, Doc. Bang Bang is turning the lights out right here, right now.
Whew. That was a wild fight, to say the least. That's all what you expected and more, I think, as to quote you, in between rounds, because it definitely was. You had Bang Bang starting his pressure off with Wanderlei Silva. You had Peace Mahai trying to fight back, trying to scrounge every last scrap of hope he could. But he just couldn't get anything going, and when he did, Wanderlei came back and just put on the massive amount of pressure.
Look, Bang Bang is always on the radar, but keep this man Peace Mahai on your radar as well. This guy came with all the smoke here this evening, was not able to get the job done. Bang Bang remains on top, gets his hand risen, and is moving on to the next stage, brother, which I'm sure he's going to be happy about. He wants that rematch up against Atakan. I know that that's the case. He feels that there were adjustments that he could make, Doc, that ultimately, ultimately he's going to be looking to try and right the wrongs maybe of previous seasons going forward into this Grand Prix, should they meet up.
Indeed. You now looking at this bracket, you've got Atakan versus Filthy Uncle Ben. We've seen Atakan against Reaper. We've seen Filthy Ben against Martial Rival, both of them put one hell of a fight. That's going to be the next 5-round fight on the list, and it's going to be a very interesting one.
Well, I believe that what the word from the back here, Doc, is that we are going to be taking a quick 60-second to 2-minute break before we move into the next part of this tournament. So rest assured, we will be back with you with literally within 60 seconds to 2 minutes. Please do not go anywhere. Use this opportunity to get yourself maybe a little bit of a snack, a little bit of a drink to refresh yourself ahead of the carnage that is coming up ahead of us. Until that moment, though, we will be right back with you. In the meantime, in fact, talk with me as we wait these next couple of seconds. Who do you think is going to win the entire thing? Let us know in the chat. We'll be back in a moment. Well, what is going on, you beautiful bunch of savages? We appreciate each and every one of you sticking with us through that short intermission. Obviously, now we have some absolute killers set up for the remaining part of the card. Up next is going to be the very first stage of the quarterfinals of this card, Doc, and that is going to be between the current reigning champion, LW Attican, and he is going to be up against a dangerous man, a man that was calling out leading up to this point, saying that he was going to walk away with the entire thing. He has the opportunity to pick up the gold at this stage of the tournament up against the current champion. I expect big things from this bout between the contender and, of course, a very, very dominant champion in Attican.
Yeah, Attican's been the dominant champion if we include last season. With that win in the GP, he's now 10-0. So it's going to be a very interesting time in seed. Can Filthy Uncle Ben get that one win on his record and maintain the gold? It'll be a very interesting time to see.
For sure, brother. Well, without further ado, we are going to skip across to this bout. I just want to bring your attentions once again to the fact that this is a title fight. So as such, it will be one of the only fights of the evening, which is, let's say, not privy to that 4-star rating rule that we have throughout the entire rest of the card. Of course, throughout this card, it is 4-star fighters only, unless it is a title fight, which is this fight right here, and of course, each and every consecutive fight where a title is on the line leading up to that main event. 15 or 16 men entered here this evening, Doc. Only one man will leave, the champion. Right here, we're about to find out who takes that belt into the next stage. Will it be UFC Turkey on the left-hand side in the red corner, or Filthy Uncle Ben on the right-hand side in the blue corner? Both picking Alexander Volkanovski against this, or ahead of this 5-round main event or title fight.
A quick rundown on Volkanovski as a fighter. He's got the leg kicks, he's got the hands, he's got the grappling. He's your all-round star. He's going. If you want to take the fight anywhere, you can with Volkanovski. We've seen Atakan enjoy using Volkanovski in the past. He's had a lot of success in these title defenses, and so I'd imagine this is going to continue so far.
Yeah, I mean, look, UFC Turkey, the reason he likes somebody like Volkanovski is because Volkanovski is kind of the epitome of his style. He likes to pressure forward, utilize those hands and the leg kicks, of course, mix in those takedowns, and the ground and pound is there as well with Turkey, but he's being pressured right now by Filthy Uncle Ben, who decides that he wants to enter this fight in a crazy way, almost, as some would say, and take the fight to the opponent. Pressure fight the dog, and put him in a position where he may be feeling a little bit uncomfortable. That back foot.
I mean, it can be an effective measure. If you want to pressure fight anybody, pressure fighting the pressure fighter is sometimes the way it goes. Atakan already... Oh!
He sits down the champion. We may be seeing the challenger pick up the belt already in this quarterfinals. Not able to get the takedown. I think that's a nice little mix-up for him, though. He's showing the champion that he's not afraid to take him to the ground, Doc. And already the action is starting.
It really is the knockdown by the challenger. That's going to definitely put water in his cup just for the way it's going. Atakan's having a bit of difficulty reversing the knee elbow double hooks there. Phil, seems like 2 minutes 40 on the clock. It's already seems like Filthy Uncle Ben's happy to keep this pace going. The pressure in the pressure fighter is definitely the way it's going to go. If he doesn't win this, he's definitely showcased for his next opponent. This is the way to go, it seems like.
Yeah, for sure.
That's impressive.
I mean, look, honestly, Filthy Uncle Ben is having so much success right here. He was talking a lot leading up to this bout, and obviously he's here to back it up, brother. I mean, no feeling out process at all in this title fight, and he's setting a pace which is going to be hard to continue, but Volkanovski has the gas tank to do so, and so far, due to the damage he's landing, he's actually ahead in terms of the stamina department and the damage. He's got 2 rocks and 2 knockdowns.
Yeah, 2 knockdowns, 2 rocks. That's a lovely job every time he's got that rock. Atkins block only just surviving. It's an impressive time jab straight there. Filthy Uncle Ben's having so much success here. Atkins really needs to figure an issue out here.
Yes, lovely slip off the center line. The champion trying to answer back with something here. Lands a couple of a 3-punch combination. Following up, sits down the challenger. The up kick of doom, keeping Filthy Uncle Ben in the fight a little bit longer. That's going to be a little bit of a wake-up call at the latter end of this first round for him, Doc. He was having a lot of success and has to keep all of his, tools in line, bro, because this is getting a little bit wild.
It really is getting a little bit wild, both of them. It seems like every time we enter the very end of the last 30 to 40 seconds. Oh!
No way! Filthy Uncle Ben trying to get it done right here, but the bell comes in for the end of the first.
Oh my God! Atakan survives by the bell. We've seen it before in the Bang Bang fight. Will Atakan be able to turn it around like he did in the Bang Bang fight in his title defense? Filthy Uncle Ben has looked the best we've seen ever as a contender, and this is impressive.
I am blown away to say the least. Filthy Uncle Ben answering the call here this evening. Sees his opportunity, Doc, to get that gold, that primetime strap here and now. And he intends on defending it should he win it in this fight. But he has the champion, on shaky legs. I mean, Atakan was able to get a rock at the end of that first round and is doing good in the second round. But that was a lot of adversity in the first. And you can see the damage wearing on his face.
You really can. He's having a tough time now. Atakan's got to find the one shot. You also notice the footwork of Filthy Uncle is playing dividends to his entire style here, because you see Atakan's trying to engage, but every time he does, Filthy Uncle Ben's not there to get hit. Oh, the stun there, the uppercut, the straight narrowly avoids. He's trying to 5-piece, trying to land him as the head movement doesn't. Keeps him out of trouble. 3 minutes left on the clock, Looney. This is a pace I wasn't expecting to see.
Yeah, floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee. Filthy Uncle Ben getting a lot of damage off, avoiding a lot of the damage in return. Oh my god, Anakin almost eating a head kick, but he answers back with his own combination bomb and sits him down. And still, LW Anakin, how is that possible, my man? How? Answer me.
I don't know how that is possible. That is the... Can we point out we had 5 rounds? They only needed 2. I feel like whenever you get to these moments, nobody takes it slow. Everybody just wants to get it. And it seems like Anakin find that one shot coming back from pull block just took the uppercut on the chin and get knocked the hell out.
I'm actually mesmerized. Like, I thought that we were about to see a new champion at this stage of the tournament. I thought the Filthy Uncle Ben had done enough to get that done.
I thought he did as well. You saw that Anakin was suffering there. He was so close to defeat. But Anakin knows how to dig deep, come back and take the victory. Lovely job there.
Yeah, I mean, look, that kid is built differently. UFC Turkey. He does not intend on giving up that belt anytime soon, brother. And, I mean, after answering back such adversity in that second stage, because you've got to remember, in the first stage, he fought a dangerous Reaper, and he came out there, put the pace on Reaper, was able to push it all the way through the bout until he got his hand raised. In that one, it was like he was the nail. He was the nail doc. It was the first time we've ever seen him take that much damage, have to dig that deep, and still come away with that victory. I mean, that was a real kind of testing moment and trying moment for the champion, possibly the biggest and, kind of test of his entire career so far.
That was a test and a half. He dig deep, he got his bucket and spade out and just dug and dug. Filthy Uncle Ben's a definite, but even that being said, Filthy Uncle Ben's a definite sight to keep an eye on. With how that fight went, he's going to be a very challenging fighter coming into the future.
Yes, sir. Well, Doctor, with that one being said, my man, that obviously was our first fight of the evening that was for a semi-final spot. It was a title fight. Anakin now, of course, advancing to the semi-finals, as you can see on your screens right there. And we're about to find out who's going to be fighting him next. Who is the next man up for a semi-final spot? And more importantly, who is the next man up to challenge for that title? Is it going to be PXL Samurai Robin, as he is also known, a very, very dangerous competitor that we saw in the last fight, is not afraid to really throw down and get a little bit dirty in there. But he's against a guy that stepped up on short notice out here, Doc, in AJ Bads, who, let's be honest, looked phenomenal in that first round. Really put it on his opponent and, kind of... Well, just excelled, brother. Excelled in every department.
He really did. Both of them are an interesting fight. It's going to be an interesting time. Both of them strikers. Both of them know how to grapple. Depends which way it goes. We're in the featherweight division. 3 rounds this time. 4-star fighters. You've got a bunch of picks. And it's going to be a wild time. Especially if they continue to keep the pace on like they did previously.
But it looks like we're about to see a boxing seminar being put on display for us. Calvin Kattar is going to be up against Dustin Poirier by the looks of things. And interesting to note, of course, Dustin Poirier in the featherweight division is actually a 4-star fighter, Doc, which I didn't realize.
He's actually hasn't got some bad stats either. I have previously looked at him coming off the top of my head, but they're not that bad as you would think they would. So he's still a competitive fighter, especially against someone like Kattar. If you're used to using Poirier in the lightweight division, you're going to be used to using him in the featherweight. Maybe slightly a bit quicker, in fact. And so, that being said, let's get into this.
Yes, sir. The time is here. The time is now. A fight with possible title implications on the line. The winner of this, of course, will be the next up to fight UFC Turkey in securing themselves a semi-final spot in this Season 2 PlayStation Grand Prix. Starting out nice and quickly, AJ Bads trying to take that center of the cage, shooting a double, not a lot of success, but now answering with a lovely sequence of shots. Not, massive combinations, just kind of single shots in nice sequences.
Yeah, nice sequences. Attempted an early takedown, hoping to get it, didn't get it. The jab to the body, straight to the head. A hook, uppercut. A lot of 2 pieces being thrown. Poirier trying to keep his head off the center line. He's just trying to mix it up and play this peculiar game to confuse Samurai here, I feel like.
Yes, sir. Samurai Robin said that he has beat UFC Turkey twice in ESFL, and he plans on doing that in the next stage should he get through AJ Bads. And he gets the first rock. Calvin Kattar now turning it on and gets the knockdown, Doc. trying to secure the finish right here, but obviously that chain of Dustin Poirier is going to hang on for a little while longer. But I mean, this is a bad start. If you're AJ Bads, you do not want to be in this position with Kelvin Cater staring down the scope and firing bomb after bomb, brother. Woo.
Oh, and Poirier on bottom gets the finish very quickly. Knockdown followed by another knockdown, getting straight up in the belly position, and that was it.
I mean, fatality in this bitch. PXL Samurai doing the damn thing here this evening. That was a beautiful performance and a very, very, kind of quick one. Just to be honest, I couldn't think of another word, Doc, but a quick performance, an impressive one from a man that quite clearly has a lot of talents on this game, especially when it comes to the striking. I mean, my God, did he turn it up, and just the way he was able to land big shots when he wanted to was something beautiful to witness.
It was indeed lovely to see just that impressive composure. You saw Poirier take on the very early time. He played very aggressively, played an odd style with those lead front kicks, but Samurai just came back, stayed patient, and then just found his shots he needs.
Yes, sir, and once again, that fight right there was not just for the semi-final spot, because that's exactly what Samurai Robin has now secured. His position in the semi-finals of this PlayStation Grand Prix Season 2. But it also means that this man is now having an early opportunity to secure gold against a man that he's beaten before, twice in ESFL from what he is saying out there. And quite clearly, he feels confident that he has the skills required to get the job done. That will be an interesting way to start out the semi-finals over here, Doc. But with that all being said, brother, it does take us on to the next bout of the evening. We have two top-level competitors biting at the bit, having very, very good opening performances here, Doc. I'm interested to see whether or not Ned is going to be able to continue down the same sort of line and be the pressure fighter, or whether or not Deagle Fly is going to do that as well, because that's what both guys brought to the table in the last one, Doc. Pressure galore, hands being thrown, and a lot of damage on both sides of the table.
I mean, to be fair, we've seen pressure fighters at it, we've seen Bang Bang at it, we've seen Bang Bang versus Peace is probably the one where it comes to pressure fighting. So we know how the pressure fighting games work. Who's going to be the first one to off the gas and let their opponent take over is going to be the main story of this fight. Both of them played an aggressive game. Both of them know how to fight, and so who's going to be the better competitor overall?
Well, Doc, they have gone Dan Ige and another, I should say, Calvin Cater pick. Both guys are, of course, 4-star. It says Dan Ige is a jiu-jitsu player. Of course, he does have the jits to fall back on, but that man has some silky smooth boxing. The height often plays to his advantage, allows you to use some silky smooth head movement, much like a kind of Cody Garbrandt sort of thing, where you can get that head off the center line. You're a little bit shorter than some of your opponents. Of course, we just saw with Kelvin Cater, though, those strikes are very, very technical, Doc. They seem to find the mark more often than not, and when they do, the damage is quite clearly felt by his opponents.
Indeed, the technique of both opponents is a very strong gameplay. You have Ige with the leg kicks and the boxing. That shorter style, as you mentioned, is similar to Cody. You can get that head movement out the way. Cage, on the other hand, has got a level 5 elbow, so if you do actually slip into that, it's going to be a bit of a troublesome time.
Yes, sir. And I'll just point out, make sure to get your bets in now. There is 1 minute remaining on the clock. This is Deagle Fly using Dan Ige, and Big Balls Ned in the blue corner looking to answer the call with Kelvin Cater. Believes that he has the answer throughout the entire competition here this evening, and he's going to get his fair share of tests up against Deagle Fly, who quite clearly showed in the last fight to be a man that has a lot of answers for his opponents and seems to be able to find a way to close the deal no matter who's standing opposed him.
He really has very effective time, already going close to that body. Both of them just trying to establish this jab very quickly to make it known. A body kick there as well as a very risky time, especially how easy it is to sidestep. 2 minutes 30 left on the clock, Rooney, and both of them seem to be fairly similar in the pace.
Yes, sir. Nice little leg kick right there. I think that could play dividends if he continues to go to the well with that. They are tending to exchange, and I have to say, a lot of these PlayStation guys, they do something that I think is quite honestly beautiful and shows some of the levels to the striking that they have, the ripples to that, and that's the stutter step. We saw Humble do it a little bit earlier on this evening. We're seeing Deagle Fly do it now, Doc. You know what I'm talking about, getting themselves stutter stepping left and right, and a lot of the time it avoids those shots that come down the barrel and allows you to counter with some massive, massive implications.
Yeah, like if you can just stutter step out the way of a jab or a straight and just meet them with a lead hook, it does so much damage as a counter, and it's so effective. Bang Bang even did it, I think, in his fight, and so it's a fun little time to take note of. 2 minutes left on the clock. Calvin Cater now putting Ige against the cage, and a switch kick doesn't get that effective. Just go straight to the block, landing on that chin. Neither one of them, to me at least, seems to be really taking the major victory, apart from that leg kick of Ige's.
Yeah, quite honestly, I think you're right. It's a very, very close and competitive fight, but I do think that Dan Ige is probably landing some of the better shots. Those two big misses and those sorts of, kind of monumental misses are going to really have big effects on the later end of this fight should they go into the later rounds, especially with the body work that Kate is now going to. He recognizes the stamina advantage and the fact that some damage is coming his way on that leg, so opting to go to the body at this stage in the bout is an incredibly intelligent move, Doc, and I highly rate and recommend him to continue to go to the well with that.
I do agree. Just going to the well, just working the body is going to be the most effective. That leg kick, though, as well, in my opinion. If you can kick the leg out, you can then make him more worried about the bottom side of it. And the overhand clips, putting on this pressure, 30 seconds left, goes for a clinch, looking to land a couple of shots past the block. He doesn't get it, and...
Brother. I mean, look, Deagle Fly came here with a point to prove here this evening, and he is proving it, my man. Gets the knockdown once again. Only 1 second left in the first round. His back gets taken, but he is going to be riding on a wave here, bro. On a wave. He is absolutely surfing through this fight. A lot of confidence, a lot of momentum on his side. A stun and a knockdown towards the latter end of a relatively close fight up until that point. We'll have to see if Calvin Cater on the opposite side with Big Bull's Ned is going to be able to make the necessary adjustment, get that heart rate down, Doc, and compose himself going into the second round.
Yeah, Calvin Cater's been knocked down. He knows that he's going to be suffering here, and that's going to be the case of this entire fight. Just can he slow down, keep the pace, and just work in an effective manner?
Yeah, we can already see a couple of shots landing for Dan Ige. Once again, the lead hook lands, and the straight-on return. Big Bull's Ned is answering back with a couple of shots of his own, but quite honestly, they're too few and far between. The bigger of the shots are landing via Deagle Fly. He sends his opponent flying through the air right there and decides to follow it up with a little bit of ground and pound. 4 minutes on the clock, Doctor. This is your area of expertise, my man. I'm sure you'll be happy to see him ride out a little bit of top control, working that ground and pound, and allowing himself moment by moment to edge himself further into this fight.
So lovely to know there. You already see Calvin Cater's head's blinking, so a couple of those elbows are massive. Couple of the ground and pound shots are going to play dividends. Guess the quick transition sprawl. You can most likely work the body damage from that position. Instead, goes for the back sitting. Probably looking for the top mount here, although he gets stuck back into the back sitting. 3 minutes left on the clock. This is still a long time for Ige to work.
Yeah, a lot of scrambles, and now the ground and pound is raining down on his opponent. Does a relatively good job of avoiding some of that damage, or at least to a point to survive, Doctor, but a couple bleeding through, and you can already see the damage is mounting up massively. Big Bull's Ned really cannot take too many more of these shots without his chin crumbling under that pressure.
He really can't. That head health is now constantly blinking, raining down shots again, hoping to do it. Doesn't get it. A jab straight lead hook, and...
Ooh! Deagle Fly on another level right here says, I do not need a gas tank if my opponent is face down on that canvas. Has to see if that's going to bite him in the butt a little bit later into this fight as Big Bull's Ned continues to fire back some bombs, but so far so good for Deagle Fly, Doc. He's having a fantastic bout, almost flawless, barring a couple of big shots being landed by Big Bull's Ned. Have we lost the Doctor?
I accidentally mute my mic there. Always, son. Love it. Uh-oh, elbow of doom. I mentioned it earlier, and that's level 5 elbow playing dividends to the damage. Trying to get the finish here. Nearly does.
Yeah, 0 block, 0 head health, just about surviving by the skin of his teeth. Dan Ige is not going to be too happy with that after previously having a lot of success in this bout. The end of round 2 seems to be swaying in his opponent's favor, although that head health still incredibly suspect, Doc. It's blinking without strikes being landed. It means that Big Bull's Ned can probably not take even a gentle breeze blowing the wrong direction. Definitely has to be defensively cognizant, or this might happen.
He really has to be defensively confident. And instead, the uppercut flails his body about the place, kind of going to a massive spaz.
Yeah, I mean, look, he lifted his opponent off the ground, Deagle Fly, momentarily at least, sending his opponent flying through the air before he finally crumbled to the ground for the final time here this evening. He's going to be feeling pretty happy with that performance. I'm sure there was areas that he wished he could have improved on, but ultimately he was able to get the job done, and that's what it's about, right, Doc, is getting your hand risen at the end of the day. You know, ultimately, he now moves on into that semi-final spots, which is a big, big thing for him. It means that he's going to be in a strong position to win this entire thing if he can get through 2 more fights, bro.
Yeah, indeed. Deaglefly played a brilliant game there, and it showcased it. If he can get another win, he's the belt time, and that's where the interesting game really happens.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, they are... Well, they've jumped off at the end of their stream, of course, but that's okay. We move on to the next bit now, of course. It's our very, very last fight on the right-hand side of the bracket, Doctor. We have 2 guys that showed in their last performances that they are very, very, very dangerous. And how about you lead us into this one, my man?
Bang Bang is a man who needs no introduction. We've seen him in Wanderlei Silver. You know how this goes. In featherweight, you probably have someone who's 4 stars, a bit mental pick, and it's just the way it goes. Spartan War, grappler, striker, any way you want to take it, he will take it. The sensible option would be to take it down to the ground, but you know how it gets when you fight Bang Bang. You want to put it on the feet. It's just the way it goes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, obviously, like Bang Bang, man, he just has an impressive way of... you know, just really, really bringing chaos to the cage. He's kind of our very, very own Justin Gaethje before. And in fact, even to this day, he's kind of making those necessary adjustments that Gaethje did as well, right, Doc? I mean, he kind of brings that chaos, but he has become a little bit more refined over his career. And as a result, we're seeing some really, really standout performances because it's showing us some different ripples to his game that we maybe haven't seen as deeply as we had in the past.
Yeah. And it's a very interesting time, as you mentioned, with the adaptation. Bang Bang's entire game is you're gonna have to adapt to how Bang Bang fights, whether he's the one fighting you or you're fighting him. It's just all about adjustments, because one small adjustment when it comes to Bang Bang plays massive effects on how the fight goes.
That it does, my man. And it looks like we're about to see maybe a Jeremy Stevens pick up against Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar being a popular pick here this evening. Spartan War, of course, going with that option. And on the opposite end, we have Bang Bang going with Jeremy Stevens, the real hardest hitting 145er, Doc. When he hits people, they don't effing move. I
mean, to be fair, if you get pushed by him, it's not going to go very well with you.
Only man to ever end a fight via shove. Bang Bang, you dig. Maybe looking to not implement some shoves into his game here this evening, but definitely those hands are going to be flying.
Indeed, he's going to do a bit more than shoving, hopefully knocking the head off his opponent. Kattar being that person. You've got Spartan already looking to dig down to that body. Uppercuts are already playing, and both of them are having a fun time.
I mean, let's not sleep on Spartan War here, man. I've heard fantastic things about this guy, and he's done some really good things in the community. We're already seeing some excellent head movement, getting caught with a couple of pull counters right there, though. Of course, has to be careful. We'll have to see if that defense holds through, because at the beginning, you can avoid a couple of shots, but then as Bang Bang settles into his riddle, catches you in his web of shots. Nice uppercut, though. Those sorts of shots right there, Doc. That's what's going to keep Bang Bang honest over the course of this fight.
It really is. It's just going to be you've got to make sure you counter correctly. Otherwise, Bang Bang's going to find the counters. He's going to find the shots he wants, and he's going to constantly go them. As you can see, that lead hook already coming to fruition there, working down that block. The head movement on both opponents, just trying to keep each other's heads off the center lines. You're now pinned against the back of the cage, which just... That is Bang Bang's game. If you continue against the cage, he's going to throw lead hooks, uppercuts, just so you can't pull anything back.
Yeah, I mean, it's because you can't pull backwards, bro. You can either lean off to the side or duck down, and either which way there is hands coming your way, especially with picks like Jeremy Stevens and Wanderlei Silva. You know that the power's going to be for this man, or be there for this man. So far, I'll be honest with you, Spartan War's done a good job of, relatively staying defensively sound, using that lead in. Oh my god, I was going to say, using that straight to interrupt, but Bang Bang does not give a He pushed forward, bro, and lands bomb after bomb, continuing to catch his opponent.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
This is a bang bang fight. This is
This is a bang bang fight. You have both of them going back at each other. It's just the way it goes. Going back to Bang Bang, though, he has an ability to make you confident in your striking ability. Like, you feel like Bang Bang's walking onto all your shots over and over again. You're having some success, and then suddenly ace down on the canvas, and I feel like that's going to happen here, because especially with someone like Stevenson's power, where one or two shots can change the game entirely.
Yeah, he's the real hardest hit in 145 for a reason, but obviously has the card stacked against him up against Calvin Keita, who also has heat seekers in those hands and is answering back with some bombs of his own. Bang Bang, though, just absolutely relentless with this pressure. If those body uppercuts continue to rain on him, it may make him second guess it, but maybe not, my man. Maybe not. Decapitating his opponents. Once again, Bang Bang gets his hand raised into the air just once again, bro. Once again, I just don't understand how he does it. That pressure, that chaos, how does a man live in that from fight to fight and continue to have some nerves, you know, the nerves of steel that is required to put yourself in some dangerous positions like he has to. He has to risk being knocked out in order to put on performances like this. And he's able to continue to take those risks and ultimately have them, you know, work for him.
He's got to risk it for a biscuit, and that biscuit is the belt on the line, and it's Bang Bang, so making his way through. He'll be fighting Deaglefly up next, and we've seen Deaglefly put on this pressure, so that's another pressure fight. It seems like we have a technique side of the GP, and we have a pressure fighting side of the GP, and they're bound to meet in the middle.
Do you know what? I would almost agree with you on that, other than the fact that Atakan is also a guy that likes to bring the pressure, brother. Like, there's a lot of pressure fighters in this tournament right now, you know, kind of at the final stage. I think there's three guys that really like to bring the action, like to hit you in the face, whether your hands are up or not. They just like to continue to pour on that pressure. And then, of course, I would say that Samurai on the kind of left-hand side of the bracket, probably the most technical striker out of the bunch, but it's ultimately whether or not that's going to be the deciding factor, right? Because being technical is all well and good, and Samurai looked fantastic in his last result. But with the styles that come with, like Bang Bang and everything like that, Doc, it can be difficult to do that over the course of a full 15-minute round. So I'm interested to see him in particular, how he goes up against the champion. If he's able to get that gold, how he is then able to do that in the finals against two other phenomenal pressure strikers. I think that's kind of the story of the night that I'm looking forward to, and ultimately it's what we're about to find out, as the next bout of the evening is the semi-finals. LW Atakan, a dominant reigning champion from the last season in Season 1, coming across into Season 2. He is currently undefeated, am I incorrect, Doc? Is he undefeated?
Yeah, he's undefeated. I think now he's 11-0? Yeah, no, because he was 9-0 with those two fights. He ends up at 11-0 across both seasons. If he makes it to the finals, he becomes 4-0 to begin with. And you've seen Trixie do it. Can Atakan maintain the belt?
Yeah, no, for certain, brother, for certain. It would be... So I know that, you know, between these two guys, like I said, I think that the storyline for me, just to kind of go into it a little bit deeper, I suppose, is that Atakan, man, this guy... He just finds a way to win. He's been pressured very, very heavily in the past, and had a lot of adversity put in his way, especially in like that last performance up against filthy Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben put on a pace like nobody ever has against the champion, and ultimately he was able to just find a way to eke out that victory. And we don't often see him in those deep and dangerous spots. You know, a lot of the time the pressure he's able to put on, whether it be on the feet or on the ground, Doc, allows him to get his hand, kind of raised into the air and that strap wrapped around his waist. But the ability for him to do that in that fight was really, really something different. Although this next opponent does bring something entirely different to the game, which is not that massive amount of pressure, but some technical striking and some beautiful head movement, which could be the recipe to to see a new champion here on the PlayStation side of things.
Yeah, indeed, both of them are a very interesting time just to fight, just in general. So it should be an interesting time.
Well, from what I understand, currently we are hearing that UFC Turkey had a little bit too much tiramisu leading into this bout, and he is a little bit overweight. Currently, he is cutting that weight, and we hope that he will be with us in a couple of seconds. But while we do wait for that, Doc, of course, it does allow us an opportunity to also talk about the right-hand side of the bracket between two guys that have quite honestly shown savagery throughout the evening, and that is Deagle Fly, who was able to beat his opponent Ned in the last round in a very, very fun fight, and of course, previous to that, taking out our very own KIA Humble. But between him and, of course, Bang Bang, what do you expect, brother? I imagine there's just going to be sparks, right?
Yeah, both of them are... You've got this pressure fighting style, and it's just going to be a very interesting time, because it's, I think, as I mentioned before, you're going to have this entire factor of whoever lets off the gas first is going to be the issue, because of if you lose the pace, lose the pressure, you're gonna have to refine that pressure. And against even, and if you see with Deagle Fly, as soon as you step off the gas, you're gonna run out of gas very quickly, because your opponent is just coming at you like a freight train. Same with Bang Bang. Both of them are very, very mental characters.
Yeah, they you know, they're kind of a bit of a different breed when it comes to their approach to the game. They are not risk adverse. Definitely two men that kind of, you know, welcome the war, sort of speak, happy to take the fight into deeper waters. You know, really, really kind of duke it out on the feet. Not two guys that, you know, often opt for the grappling element of their games, but you know, two men that really, really do kind of either kill their opponent with their sword or go out on their sword, so to speak. They will happily exchange in any kind of regard that they can. I will say that, of course, you know, in that bout, I would expect it to really come down to how somebody like Deagle Fly is going to get that last kind of approach on it, because Bang Bang, we know what his approach is going to be. He's been around this scene for a very, very long time with the stock, since kind of the inception of Primetime, since we really formed Primetime MMA, you know, a year or so back itself. He was on the scene, he was an active competitor, and he was always a guy that, you know, brings the action. I honestly, man, I think that I can count the amount of back steps that Bang Bang has taken on my hands. You know, like just using my fingers, I think I can count the amount of back step he's taken. So I think it's about whether or not Deagle Fly decides to meet him in that engagement, or decides to use some of the footwork, because as you know, Doc, sometimes stamina can play a big factor up against opponents like that when they are pouring on the pressure. If you can survive that early onslaught, a lot of the time that's what ultimately allows you to get the victory against those types of people.
I do agree. As you mentioned, Bang Bang doesn't step forward. He steps forward constantly. He doesn't step back. The counting on one hand is probably legitimate. His aim of the game is to push you against that cage so you can't do any pullbacks and rain down fire, fury, and flames at you. Deagle Fly's probably got the same motive. Hasn't yet shown it to a full showcase. And both of them are a very interesting type of characters. You've got Anakin versus Robin on the other hand. Anakin's got the pressure fight. You still feel Uncle Ben put on that pressure. And so, with looking at how Anakin's previous fights going, I'm going to kind of extrapolate from that Robin's going to more play a game in which he wants Anakin on the back foot, to play the game and just to be aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right, Doc? I mean, in the first up against Reaper, we saw him really kind of push the pressure, right? And he didn't waste any time getting on his opponent and taking Reaper out of that fight, not allowing him the opportunity to settle in any way, shape, or form. In the next fight, though, of course, Filthy Uncle Ben was the man that did that to the champion. And that really kind of caught him off guard and had him kind of shaking almost until he was able to get that victory. So I don't know what just happened, ladies and gentlemen. They were about ready to fight, and I think one of them hit B like a numpty, but they are back at it quite luckily. So this is a title fight, Doc. So just to remind everybody, title fights each and every single stage of the competition, that the previous champion or whoever beats him at that point in the competition, they will be defending the belt all the way through. So this is our semi-finals of the left-hand side of the bracket, but you are absolutely right. It is a title fight, and as such, they do get 5-star fighters, Doc. So that's why we're seeing, I believe, a Peter Yan pick. I did not quite catch who was standing opposed him. Who?
Pedro Munhoz. He's got a family. He's got the chin of a... his chin is strong. He's got rubber guard. He's got a lovely set of BJJ. He's also got a very strong leg kicks and very powerful boxing. The only main issue, in my personal opinion, with him is his footwork is kind of sketchy. Also, to be note of Jan's force and nature perk. So if he gets ahead in the health settings very early, you're going to have a hard time.
Well, starting it out very, very quickly, Samurai says, F your striking, put you on the mat. I'm taking away Peter Yan's, kind of strengths early going, bro. Everybody talks about how strong Peter Yan is, but it's hard to be a dominant man on the feet when you're put on your back. He does. I thought he was going to get back to his feet, but no. Samurai, educated, takes that right transition. And once again, rides it out, Doc, takes his back. Samurai Robin seems to be dialed in right here in this first round and taking this championship fight very seriously. He said that he was going to beat the champion. He said he's done it twice before. He believes he can do it again, brother. So far, so good.
Evidently playing the grappling game to begin with. Gets denied there. Going for the armbar attempt. That's an interesting time. Fairly low stamina as well. Good tracking to begin with. And we could be seeing a completely different approach.
He's actually doing a fantastic job. The escape is now doing a little bit better. The champion's doing a good job of surviving, but
this is a legit attempt. This is a very interesting time to see. The red does seem like it's going to sneak up just a bit, but that's a very good start by Robin here.
Yeah, I mean, considering that they are very, very early in the fight, that was an incredibly tight submission, all things considered. I think that may be a recipe for success later on in the fight. We don't know how he won the last two fights, Doc. Maybe they were both by submission.
Quite possibly. Jan's already starting to, it seems like Robbins wants to grappling game, and that's why he's gone Pedro. In my opinion, there's better grapplers. You got Jan in himself. He's a very effective grappler, but evidently he's gone Pedro. He wants the BJJ aspect as well. Does nearly get clipped by a front kick and a bit of spinny shit done by Turkey there.
Do you know what? I'm actually seeing something here. I mean, I feel like if Samurai's just able to feint in Turkey's face, Turkey's kind of a little bit frustrated right now. He's pressuring everything and just throwing wild. Backpedal, throw that jab, feint in his face, get him a little bit tired. This is a 5-round fight, Doc. You can take this late. It doesn't have to all be first round and second round finishes, especially when there's gold on the line. Take it to those championship rounds. See who's got that championship medal.
Yeah, we have always seen Atkins fights always, I think the longest he's gone is 4 rounds, and that was against Kobe. Every other time it's been out in about 3 rounds. The second round always the most aggressive, but we see Robin's happy to lose this round. He had a good attempt in the first. He's got 40 seconds left on this. He hasn't taken too much damage. Lovely single leg there, takedowns on both. We've seen countless takedowns which have been fantastic recently as well.
Look, no joke. I said this is all about how Samurai approached this fight. I thought that after the beautiful striking and head movement that he had on display in his last bout, that was the way that he was going to go. But he had something different in stock for us, Doc. He has decided to take a little bit more of a grappling approach in this first round. And I think that it was actually a very, very smart move. It's put the champion on the back foot, brother. And he's potentially down a round. I'd like to see the stats, but would you agree that that's all Pedro?
I feel like that is all Pedro. That's a very, very slow pace. Normally Atkins got a lot more strikes. Normally their head health is a bit more blinky. Normally their cardio is nearly shattered by this point coming into the second round. But Robin's happy to slow the pace down, play the steady game, and I think we may be seeing. So we've seen 2 approaches to Atkins so far. We've seen the counter pressure, where you stick the pressure on, and now we're seeing Robbins go at it, in which he's playing a steady game, looking to slow the fight right down and just look for any openings he can.
I love the returns from UFC Turkey, but I'll be honest with you, I'm absolutely being blown away by the head movement and the shot selection out of PXL Samurai. The challenger right here, right now, is trying with all he can, brother, to seize primetime gold for the first time in his primetime career. This is his first opportunity. And he may be getting the job done here. It's still very early days, of course. The champion is still definitely in this fight, but my God, this is a way to get him off his game. Good stand-up, though, by the champ. Good stand-up.
Yeah, Atkins, a lovely job getting up there fairly quickly, barely wasting any time on the ground. But again, overhand does land. Lovely job, and 3 minutes left on the clock. It does seem like Samurai's round, although he does get met with a front kick there.
Pressing forward, that was... See, I mean, this is some things now. I mean, I see UFC Turkey making some mistakes, brother. He's got his back pressed up against the cage. The distance has been crushed. No, but like, once they can get him knocked out, not like in the same way. He's throwing like spin kicks inside and doing shit like that when Samurai Robin is making reads like he is the Elephant Man and he can see shit that the rest of us cannot. This guy is dialed in, ready to take this gold, and I think that the champion needs to wake up, reassess, and talk to his corner, because right now Samurai is putting on a masterclass.
Well, we're 1 minute 50 left in the second round so far. We seem to get a lot of jabs, a couple of spinny shit moves by Atakan, but Robin seems to be taking the hold within the majority of this fight so far.
Yeah, he just seems to know when to exchange, but that's the thing about the champion. When he decides to land, he lands big, brother, and he goes with that spinning back fist into the lead overhand, and somehow both of them connect. That's the unorthodox striking of the Turkish man, UFC Turkey LW Atakan, as he is also known, doing great things for his camp, and he's been the champion for a while, having a lot of adversity in this Grand Prix, though, everybody's putting him to the test here and really trying to take that gold away for the first time.
Indeed, Atakan's just having so much success. Coming to the end of this round, you do see, though, Robin's putting his front break, both of them trade that front kick, and Robin's the one who took the worst of it.
Yeah, this is normally when Turkey does his best work, when he feels like he's got his opponent a little bit cracked and damaged. There's only 8 seconds left on the clock, so he's pouring on the pressure, trying to keep that head health damaged, and he did a great job to close out that round. That's what Samurai Robin's got to avoid going forward, is just even that first crack, because once he smells blood, he's a different man, UFC Turkey. He feels that the finish is imminent, and he pushes forward, dog, with a reckless sort of pace.
That was a reckless sort of pace, but it was a well-timed reckless sort of pace. You had that 30 seconds left. He knew that even if he does do something that fucks him up just even slightly, he's going to have success. And now we have Robin coming back, putting on his pressure. Maybe look for another takedown, I feel like is the option here.
He reads those overhands. I feel like before Turkey even knows that he's throwing them, Samurai is preemptively ducking. This man is, honestly, he's like Neo in the Matrix right now. Eating a couple of shots right there, though. Atakan definitely starting to crack Munoz a little bit. And obviously being this point in the third round, it's a little bit later than normally it would be for UFC Atakan, UFC Atakan, LW Atakan, UFC Turkey. I feel like a takedown would really pay dividends for the challenger right here. And he tries it, but the defense is right there, dog.
It seems like he wants to go for a takedown. It's just trying to find that timing, trying to find the right place for it. Otherwise, if he doesn't do something to change this fight, you can see the head health of Samurai.
How does he do this every time, Doc? He's eating bomb after bomb. He turns it around and he gets almost the finish. I was not expecting that. I don't know what just happened.
Got out of the guard, jumped straight back into it. The head health of Samurai is blinking, and it doesn't seem to want to stop. UFC Turkey had a very sketchy first round. Halfway through the second, he started putting it back. The overhand finally lands, and it could be what we're finally seeing. Atakan finding his shots finally, and with 2 minutes left, it seems like it's Atakan's fight now.
I could be wrong, but that spinning back fist, every time he lands it, he goes for that lead overhand. I actually think his opponent cannot move his head off the center line because of the spinning back fist stun, and that's why he continues to go for it. Almost gets punished right there, but nicely sidestepped, perfectly timed from Peter Yan. LW Atakan now starting to turn it up and showing that he is going to keep that belt. Oh my god, is Robin about to be finished? Woo!
His head health is gone, his block is gone. Somehow he doesn't. He gets to stop.
This is a new.
And he finishes him. What in the world?
Brother, let's just put it out there.
We have a new champ.
Robin said he was going to get the damn thing done, and he did.
Robin fucking did it.
Oh my god. I mean, and after I didn't know what was going to happen there because he got rocked, man. Turkey seemed to be turning it back up. I thought that, my god, Turkey's going to do it again, Doc. He's about to be back in this fight, and somehow, some way, this time,
head kick. Both of the you had an uppercut overhand by Atakan. He then gets the knee on belly, ground and pound. Robin somehow survived. Throw a last-ditch lead head kick, gets the straight, gets an uppercut which knocks him down and finishes him.
Oof.
What in the world did we just witness?
Oh, well, do you know what? Samurai Robin secures his placement in the finals. He is now the current reigning champion and will get the role in the Discord server regardless of how this next fight goes. But he has got to be feeling on top of the world. Somebody that was previously 11-0 in the league, Doc, has now lost their championship to a man that is...
1.
He is making a statement here this evening, is Samurai Robin, and I mean, look, if he's just beat the champ, he's got to be feeling pretty good about his odds going up against Deaglefly or Bang Bang, both incredibly dangerous competitors in their own right, but my god, just the Anu, and the Anu, brother, the Anu.
If I remember correctly, just on a side note about the 11-1, I think that is what Trixie ended his first season on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe so. Just a little bit of information there. Yeah, either way, we see a new champion at the end of this. This is going to be a very, very interesting time.
Well, I think without further ado, they are currently squared off. I'm just waiting for it to fully come through, and oh my, oh my, oh my. A matchup that, Doc, I personally love to see. We are about to see Cody Garbrandt up against Sugar Sean O'Malley. And I said it yesterday, Doc. I know that there's another guy sitting at home that's going to be watching this, that's going to love this matchup as well. It's a beautiful matchup between a boxer that has fantastic head movement, incredible speed and power, against a rangy, flashy kicker that also has some serious power in those hands, Doc. Quite polarizing opposite styles in this matchup, and it leads to some really, really interesting stylistic takes.
Very interesting stylistic takes. You got Cody with the power, the glass chin jaw, but the power of doom. You've got O'Malley with the long Celtic cross jab straights and the fancy flashy kicks. But if you can't keep Cody off of you, you're going to have an issue trying to get those kicks off. But it seems like O'Malley's content with just boxing in that pocket.
Yeah, people forget that O'Malley's got hands as well, brother, but you don't want to be trading in the pocket too early with Cody Garbrandt unless he's missing some big shots like that. That's quite wild. That's quite wild. In fact, who picked who here? Deaglefly is actually Cody Garbrandt, and Bang Bang is Bang Bang wins Sugar Sean O'Malley, brother. What am I witnessing?
What am I witnessing? You already see Deaglefly putting on the pressure. What are we witnessing, Deaglefly? What?
I just assumed it was the other way.
I assumed it was the other way. Bang Bang, what has gone through your head here? We've just had Atakan lose. Evidently, he's in shell shock by that and somehow picking O'Malley.
Bro, if I do not doubt in Bang Bang. If Bang Bang says that O'Malley works for him, then I believe in the guy. But just it's going to be a different O'Malley. You're not going to see O'Malley's box as much as somebody's going to with Bang Bang, because O'Malley's just going to be all hands here across the stretch. Oh!
I believe that O'Malley. Oh no! Let's wait for this. Nope, survive. It was a brilliant job there by Bang Bang getting to the half guard. What I was going to say was, I believe O'Malley shares the same posture as McGregor, so it may be that reason they're both. He knows how McGregor feels, so he knows how O'Malley feels, especially with them having similar jab straight animations.
Yes, sir. It decides the separation was the way to go, and I cannot say that I am opposed to it. These two guys are absolute savages, and especially when it's on the feet, brother. Just the type of action that they bring to the octagon, dog, is a beautiful, beautiful thing to behold. Like I said, beautiful destruction, to coin the phrase from my favorite, of course, Cub Swanson. But there is the big miss. Almost the punish killed him, but he survives once again. Bang Bang's having a lot of adversity in this one here, dog.
He really is. He really is. Cody, you would expect Bang Bang's pick turns out to be their way to counter him. You got O'Malley just those side steps. Those stutter steps are just missing that break. Yes, the stun though. Uppercut follows suit. Tries to go down the up kick of doom, as you mentioned it earlier. Saves him narrowly. 50 seconds left on the clock, and it's still all to play for.
Well. The action continues. 30 seconds or so left on the clock here, Doctor, and I don't expect the action to stop, not till the very, very last second. They continue to trade on the inside. Bang Bang using Sugar Sean O'Malley like he's some sort of boxer, and so far having a relative amount of success going his way. Oh my...
Oh!
To the back of the dome. I mean, that shit's illegal, but... hand is raised, the knockout, the savagery, all coming courtesy of Deagle Fly. This guy has made mincemeat of all of his opponents, and this time he was able to do so to the dangerous Bang Bang that probably wished he went somebody else, I would imagine. I probably wish he would imagine that. Yeah, the Cody pick. Yeah. Respect though, brother, respect. Whew.
Both of them did a fantastic job. Very aggressive round. Only lasted around 5 seconds left in that last round, just as you expected. And now that leaves us with our our final event of this evening. We have Samurai Robin versus Deagle Fly. Samurai is currently the champ. Deagle Fly, we've seen go through pressure fighter as a pressure fighter over and over again. We've seen how Samurai has done with arguably the best pressure fighter we've had in this division. Now Deagle Fly has got to show that he is better than Samurai Robin in this act, but we've got 5 rounds in the lightweight division. This is going to be a fight.
For sure, brother. I expect big things here. I mean, Samurai Robin was incredibly impressive in that last fight. I mean, just the fact that he engaged in some of the grappling to start with really showed a different ripple to his game. The fight before that, he basically flawless victoried his opponent, to quote Mortal Kombat. I mean, just like the ability to avoid everything that was coming his way and land shots with picture-perfect precision was a beautiful thing to behold. And just the fact that he has the variance in his game to do both of those things, Doc, I think is a huge thing. But obviously, like you said, Deagle Fly has possibly been the biggest kind of dark horse of this entire thing, right? He's a guy that we knew was incredibly talented, but maybe didn't recognize how high this guy's ceiling truly can be when he is on his A game, and he definitely seems to be on his A game here this evening.
Yeah, both of them playing on the A game, and this is where the final fight has got the technique of Samurai Robin playing such a slow pace. You saw that in the Anakin fight. I'm expecting to do the same thing. Maybe we see a couple more takedowns, have a bit more success, but anything can happen here. This is a very interesting time. I'm really glad we had the ability to commentate this, because this is a fantastic Grand Prix. You can just see the adaptability of all the PlayStation players, from Bang Bang to Deagle Fly to Samurai Robin, who are in the last section. This is going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, I mean, just looking back at the card as a whole there, Doc, I mean, kicking off the night was a great fight in and of itself. LW Anakin, TMM Reaper. Anakin came out with his customary kind of chaotic style, able to impose that well here this evening on Reaper. I know that Reaper's, biting at the bit to get back involved, and he will have the opportunity next week, of course, but Reaper then progresses onto the next stage, and we find him against Filthy Uncle Ben, who had a, kind of a standout performance up against Mars rival War. Very, very good fight, but Uncle Ben just doing the damn thing, said that he had some points to prove here this evening, and quite honestly almost did so up against the champion at that time, LW Atkin, in that second fight. He was just able to put it on him and really, really kind of light him up with some combinations. Somehow, some way, Doc, and God knows that I have no idea, Anakin manages to dig deep to the depths of hell and pull up a victory in that fight to progress him onto that next stage. And then, of course, just looking down a little bit after that, Samurai Robin able to do the same thing, going after great performance, variance of styles, able to take that belt into the final. Now he has to defend it for the very first time, potentially leaving as the PlayStation Grand Prix champion at Season 2, and champion, of course. But standing opposed him is Deagle Fly, a man that beat in the very, very first fight of the evening KIA Humble, a man that we know and love from the commentary booth, a man that has a crazy style and content creator himself. Big victory for Deagle Fly in that first one. It was a very, very fun fight. They brought the action. Then, of course, getting through Ned, who had a standout performance up against KIA Blake. Big Balls Ned seemed that he was on a mission to win the entire thing, Doc. Able to beat him. Ends up against Bang Bang. Does it with some beautiful striking. And now we find ourselves in an incredible main event for the PlayStation Grand Prix. The Xbox was fantastic. The PlayStation is living up to all the hype. And I cannot wait to get into it.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really fun time. You got Robin just as his technical fighter. You have Deagle as his pressure fighter. We've seen how Robin coped with what we thought was the best pressure fighter, but maybe it's Deagle Fly. Let's find out.
If you haven't already, make sure to get those votes in. There's only a couple of seconds left. It seems that heavy voting seems to be going the way of the current champion, Samurai Robin. A lot of people betting against. Betting against Deagle Fly.
0.
Yeah, I mean, there's people betting against Deagle Fly here this evening. Obviously, Samurai Robin has a lot of support. We've seen it throughout the evening in the chat. A lot of guys been making sure to cheer on their guys throughout the evening. So has Deagle Fly, for that matter. He finds himself in a position now as the challenger up against the newly reigning champion in PXL, Samurai, a man that has done it with relative ease at this stage, really looking to make his name known on the primetime circuit. And I think that he's done a great job of doing that, Doc, so far this evening, really, really living up to all the hype, all the support that he's got is quite clearly well earned.
Yeah, I do agree. It's well earned. You have Robin playing technical fight. You have Holloway versus Poirier in lightweight. Interesting time. Holloway's not the best in the featherweight division. Poirier is the best of the best. I'm not quite sure what to make of this matchup in general, but it's going to be an interesting time nonetheless.
Always is, brother. Primetime guarantee never fails to deliver. We now find ourselves in the main event of this PlayStation Grand Prix. Make sure to get your action voted if you haven't already, if that thing is still going, which I think it may have just ended. But yeah, no, these guys are going to pretty much set the pace for the entire fight right here, right now. It is 5 rounds, main event, being a tile fight. Just to bring your attention back to it, no 4-star fighter pick is in force, and thus we see the Dustin Poirier pick out of the current champion, who is doing a great job of bleeding through that block early, Dolph, and making sure that Max Holloway feels some of that lightweight power landing on the chin.
Indeed, indeed. Making sure that Max Holloway's injured early on is probably the best way to do it, because if you let him into those later rounds, that cardio of his is going to be an issue. A cartwheel kick there already, and Poirier is just happy to continue throwing shot after shot at him.
Yeah, this is kind of what I would expect from somebody like Deagle Fly, though. He's going to continue to pepper his opponents. He likes to do his striking in volume. Definitely not one of those guys that likes to look for those one-hitter quitters. Samurai, on the other hand, using 1-2s to a great level of success, mixing in a couple of rounded shots here and there and allowing him to keep Deagle Fly honest. But the pull counter, Doc, sits down the champion, and Deagle Fly is pouring it on, trying to prove all the haters wrong.
Oh, no. And the up kick narrowly avoids him. Front kick there does go a bit. Well, I would still say Poirier's in this, but he's currently pinned against the wall as Poirier's just putting on this pressure.
Yes, sir.
Back it.
TMM Reaper, the man in the back, says that Deagle Fly has a fantastic Holloway for sure. And yeah, we are seeing that right here, right now, Reaper. This guy is pressing forward and putting the current champion on the back foot, giving him all sorts of trouble, trying to get the belt right here, right now, Doc. Oh my God.
Deagle just clips him. Elbow there, doesn't get much success. We're trying to throw some spinny shit all of a sudden, doesn't get any success with it. Sadly, a minute for 20 left on the clock, and the jabs of Poirier are coming out. He's looking to work down that block and play the game. Bang Bang would have played most likely in just block breaking him down to this every centimeter. Poirier has nothing really to answer with apart from his chin health going down.
Yeah, the thing is, right, though, Doc, that this, even though it's been very, very effective so far, it does only take one big pull counter, and that because the stamina is always so low, he could be finished, but he may not get the opportunity. His arm is trapped. The ground and pound is going. Oh my, that's out.
Well,
and new, brother. And we go from, Doc, we go from no changes of title defenses on the PlayStation side throughout that first season to now in this second season, a quick changeover twice in a row. Samurai Robin, a man that looked nearly untouchable, looked like he was about to drag himself into that air of immortality of primetime kind of gold defending champions, which a lot of people are going to struggle to do. But then Deagle Fly comes through like a wrecking ball, brother, and is able to secure that victory, gets his hand raised for the final time this evening, and that gold strap wrapped around his belt. And of course, £20 richer, courtesy of Mr. Humbledink in the chat.
Indeed, indeed. This is an impressive Grand Prix. You had Atkin lose to Robin. Robin take hold of that strap, and then you had Deagle fight through. Hang on. Humble, Ned, and Bang Bang. All three of those opponents had previously challenged Atkin, if I'm not mistaken, and so he's beat the best of the best, and he's come through a strong champion.
Yeah, I mean, look, to quote Reaper and yourself from at the beginning of the card, of course, he went through the gauntlet, my man. He went through the gauntlet. He went through the killers of killers and was able to secure himself the victory on enough occasions. You know, basically was that 4 times on the bounce, 5 times on the bounce. I don't follow the math. So 1, 2, 3, 4 fights on the bounce, and therefore he walks away as primetime champion. He was as far away as he could be on the right-hand side of the bracket. He had to make it to the finals to get the job done there, Doc. And he was able to do so. I have to say that it was an incredible event to call. Truly honored to put these events together. These fighters continue to deliver week in, week out. Shout out to all the guys in the back that help us make these events possible. The fighters that continue to put on these incredible fights for us to be able to call and, you know, obviously do these events around Doctor. And of course, most importantly, the viewers also at home that continue to support us week in, week out. It truly does mean the world to myself and the team. And the continued support is what's going to continue to allow us to put on these events and get bigger and better each and every time as we continue this beautiful journey that we have going here at Primetime MMA.
Yeah, across the board, it was a very, very impressive card. Fantastic job by all opponents here.
Exactly right, brother. I cannot wait to get into the next one. We have an exciting season ahead of us going forward now, of course, both on the PlayStation side of things with Season 2 and Xbox Season 3 after these Grand Prix on this weekend. We will be back scheduled now on Friday and Saturdays going forward. Fridays will now be our Fight Night cards, 8:30 p.m., 3:30 p.m., 8:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, that's UK Standard Time, and 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yes, by all means, make sure to tune in for that Friday and Saturday back-to-back events. Each and every week we will be putting on the killers of killers when it comes to both the Xbox and the PlayStation side of things. We are about to push some love forward and raid somebody within the community, so if you would stick around for that, make sure to join up the raid and show some love to somebody within the community. It's a relatively niche one, guys, and when we band together, we can make somebody's day and make somebody's year, even week, month, whatever it might be. You know, a lot of these guys put on a lot of these streams, and you can make somebody's day, so make sure to join along. Other than that, though, from myself, PT as a whole, much love, stay safe, and we'll see you on Friday.